to create products necessary for everyday life. From laundry detergents and cleaning supplies to engine lubricants, the Shell Geismar team improves lives. Louisiana is where we live, and we're proud to call it home. Shell is the rhythm of Louisiana.
Why do billion-dollar insurance companies regularly delay and deny valid claims? Because that's how they got to be billion-dollar insurance companies. If you've been injured, I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA filing number 16-7969.
WNXX, Jackson, KNXX, Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers, LA 21-12681. Offices in Baton Rouge.
Good morning. It's 7 a.m. here on Wednesday, July 31st. Today in Baton Rouge, you can expect sunny skies with a high of 93. In hour one of today's show, we'll give you an Olympic update, how the U.S. is faring out there in Paris, and we'll preview LSU fall practice, which will begin tomorrow. You can follow us on Twitter or Instagram at OTB_ESPN and watch us on YouTube at the 104.5 ESPN channel. Hour number one of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios, starts now.
Let we go! All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert. Yeah! Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo.
Oh, what's happening, everybody? Hope you're having an excellent day. This is OTB. It is Wednesday, July 31st. That's right, man. That's crazy. We're almost into August, guys. And you know what August means? It means training camp. It means football season. So, look, over the next couple of days, I can guarantee you we are going to talk a ton of football. A lot of the college football varietal as well. Now, we'll open with a lot of Saints sound from yesterday and give you the latest from Saints training camp day 6. But in hour number 2, I want to go around the SEC, and as we sit here on the eve of training camp, go through all the biggest storylines and questions facing each team. I'd like to do the same thing for the Big Ten maybe tomorrow. There's a really good piece from our guy, Chris Lowe, on the toughest schedules in the entire country. And yes, we know it's Florida, but we rarely talk about why it's Florida, who has the easiest schedules, who could maybe end up in the playoff because of their schedule. I think there's a couple names that you maybe aren't even considering yet. So if you love college football, I think you're going to love today's show. But of course, we still have things like Tay-Tay's NFL story of the day. I'm not sure if we have flustering or not today. That remains to be seen. But, and we'll open with a little Olympics as the Olympics continues to be just great. Just super, super fun. No matter when you put it on, there's always something interesting going on. Guys, what was your highlight of the day yesterday?
Rugby winning a medal.
Had to be. Because of the manner in which they won.
And, looked like it was not going to happen. Just find a way. They find a way.
Yeah, in case you missed it, we can't play it because we will get banned because we
can't
copyright.
Even say Olympics on SiriusXM.
That's
we
crazy.
have to say Summer Games in Paris. That rolls right off the tongue.
It's unwieldy. Yeah, it's unwieldy. God, I shaved this when I got hair on my teeth. How'd that happen? I don't know.
What'd you shave? Because it does.
No, look. This neck is bare. This is all tighter. I had to take about an inch off the beard. Anyway. So in case you missed it, though, U.S. women's rugby sevens, never's medaled. They've kind of been the darlings of this tournament. Yeah. Everybody fell in love with Alona Mar when she had that incredible stiff arm play. You know, people say Michelle Allstott and everything. And getting to know her has been pretty fantastic. You know, a champion of both kind of strength and femininity, right? Because she's this big, strong human being that we don't traditionally associate with being overly feminine. Yet she's like a girly girl. And so she's proving to a lot of young women out there she can be both. Anyway, she's done. She's been awesome, right? The whole team, everybody's kind of fallen in love with him. Well, they end up making that medal round. They're in a bronze medal match against Australia. And look, let's be clear. New Zealand, Australia, like this is what they do. Rugby, this is their sport. And so here you are battling with one of the core four for a medal. And as Jake said, you're down one try, 10 seconds left on the clock. You got a full 95 yards to go, basically the entire field. And that's when Alex Cedric refused to be denied. And I wish that we could play the highlight because I think I've watched it 20 times already. She sidesteps the first defender that comes after her, Jake. And then the second one, instead of going finesse, just goes straight power. I mean, runs down her middle, flat backs her. And because of this, it's that classic football thing where you think the person's tackled, so everybody kind of lets up a little bit, right? So she jukes one, and as she's running over the other, there's like another person who's kind of there and it's kind of on her, but like thinks she's going down. She kind of has a momentary lapse, and next thing you know, it's a steamroll pancake. She's off to the races. Game tying try, and then I don't exactly know how you determine where you get to kick the extra points from, but they got the easy one. And she knocked it in, FT dub. So it's like it's the equivalent of hitting a 95-yard walk-off zone touchdown run, like with 0 seconds left on the clock, and then you make the extra point to win the game. It was one of the most exciting highlights I've ever seen in my entire life.
One of my favorite parts after that play happened, they still had to make the try. And there's Team USA members on the sideline, and they're all looking because they know the situation. Yeah. And one of them's like, somebody's talking to her. She's like, shut up, shut up, shut up.
I think she had a couple words thrown in between the shut and the up.
Yeah, she did.
But that was great, right? And even the announcer was like, we hear you, stay calm. And then, but you got to give credit to Alex. Alex immediately, the woman that scored immediately wanted the ball and just knocked it in easy as can be. She didn't want to think about it. She was just like, give me this ball, let's roll, and let's get out of here. So congratulations, a bronze medal. And so exciting. Any other great highlights from y'all yesterday?
Men's volleyball. Jace Buttinger and the crew.
They were back at it. I didn't watch the highlights from that match. Did they dominate again?
I didn't see the full game. I saw kind of like around the horn style coverage.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that's mainly how I've been consuming these Olympics mainly has been like a little bit of like NBC's like prime time in Paris where, they give you the storylines, they highlight everything. But honestly, the vast majority is just YouTube. The NBC Sports YouTube's been having really good 7 and 10 minute recaps on all the events. And it's really nice to just bebop around and be like, ooh, that looks interesting, and dive into the sport that you never would watch otherwise. Simone Biles and Team USA, you have to mention women's gymnastics getting back to the gold medal. Of course, for Simone, the incredible comeback tale continues from getting the twisties last Olympics and going through some mental health battles to now emerging on the other side and being as dominant as ever. It's her floor routine that cements it and wins them gold. So, it's awesome. It continues to be awesome. Wait, so did you all see? I think Taylor, look at the document. I'm pretty sure we can show this picture. This is not from a television broadcast. It comes from photographer Jerome Brulé, but maybe it's Brulé. I don't know exactly how to pronounce that, but it's a picture of surfer Gabriel Medina. And it may be one of the slickest pictures of all time if you look up Gabriel. And look, we'll wrap up Olympic talk in a second here. For medal counts, the U.S. leading the way overall at 26. But when it comes to gold, you got China and Japan with 7. Hold on. Okay, you got China and Japan with 7. You got France, Great Britain, and Australia with 6. You got Korea with 5. Told you all about them archery, bro. They're beasts at rifle as well. At shooting. The Koreans are just good at shooting. I don't know why. And then you got the United States with 4 gold medals. So we'll see how that continues. Look at this picture, Jake. Did you see this?
Oh yeah, it's incredible. It'll never be topped. Like you might have some that are on the same tier, but that's incredible.
So Medina dismounts a wave after a run that he was calling for the judges for a perfect 10 as the run is ending. And he gets launched by the wave into the air. He's holding the number one up. I'm number one, whatever. But he seems to be about 7 or 8 feet in the air, but it looks like he's just standing on solid ground, even to the point where the surfboard is behind him, parallel with his feet, but 7 feet above the water. It is one of those all-time good sports pictures. Put it right next to the Renaissance Kawhi picture from the Sixers Raptors series from a few years back when the ball's rattling around the rim and you can see every single emotion on everybody's face. But yeah, that's probably one of the greatest surfing pictures of all time. So look, Olympics, I think, continues to deliver, man. And I think NBC's doing a great job, and it's just so much fun watching all these athletes ply their trade.
Unfortunately, they didn't win, but 3-on-3 basketball, Team USA, Jimmer Fredette. It's nice to see Jimmer. Hadn't seen him in a long time.
How do we arrive at the place where Jimmer Fredette is who we're going to for 3v3 basketball?
I don't know. I think if I have this right, they didn't qualify for the last Olympics, and they brought Jimmer in kind of as a ringer. And then they qualified for this one, but they did lose to Serbia yesterday. I think Haley Van Lith is actually on the women's 3v3,
she is,
right?
I've kind of wondered the same thing though, right? Like, I mean, Haley's awesome, but what separates her skill set from so many others that she's ideal for 3v3? Same thing with Jimmer. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Jimmer actually, 3-on-3 is a pickup style. Like, we've all played 3-on-3 basketball. Like, it feels like that is where Jimmer would thrive, even though, again, they lost, and I think he only scored 4 points, but pickup basketball. I mean, again, they brought him in when they didn't qualify, and they qualified with him.
I don't know. I know that the men's team plays today, though. Against South Sudan. Remember, didn't they had the last second win during the run up to the Olympics?
43.5-point favorites, yes.
So South Sudan got their first ever Olympic win.
Puerto Rico.
Over Puerto Rico. Our boy Jose and company. So I'm looking forward to watching them today. Nothing else too much jumped out on the schedule for me today. There is the USWNT's back, and if they win or draw Australia, they win Group B. And I will say I have watched the Nadal and Alcaraz doubles highlights, and it's insane. And that was a great match. Dutch almost got him, but it's insane to think about it, like lining up on a tennis court and watching and seeing Rafael Nadal and Carlos Alcaraz across the way from you. Unbelievable stuff there. So, all right, look, when we get back here on OTB, let's go ahead and dive into Saints camp, okay? We'll recap everything that happened in day 6, kind of the highlights, what you need to know. And we have sound from Dennis Allen, Taliesin Fuanga, and, our savior himself, Clint Kubiak, addressing the media. Keep it locked right here on 104.5 ESPN.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to Trash Rangers of Louisiana, okay? Because there, what we say is all you pay, okay? No surprise or hidden fees, no BS. They're local, meaning that they are here for you, okay? You are not just a number on a spreadsheet. They're a part of the same communities. They're either going to do whatever they can to make sure that you and your waste removal needs are satisfied to the best of their degree. And so, look, if it's residential, you live in Livingston or Ascension, you get in touch today, you can immediately make the switch. But if you're a business owner and you need front-load dumpsters and you need them picked up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, even 6 days a week, they're flexible. They understand what it takes to run a business, this economy. They understand what you need. It's TrashRangersLLC.com.
And with those roll-off dumpsters, remember that is throughout the Baton Rouge area. So we're talking to everybody here, right? Trash pickup, Ascension, Livingston, those surrounding parishes. But with the roll-off dumpsters, 3 different sizes at your house, at your business, whatever job project you've got going on. Check it out today, TrashRangersLLC.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the JimsFirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the JimsFirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Join me for a Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. More news from out at Saints Camp. We'll meet two more LSU football freshmen, preview fall camp, and it's a What If Wednesday. Hunt Palmer Show, 1 to 3 weekdays, 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
I've never seen a diamond.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Yo, what's happening, y'all? Welcome back to OTB here on this Wednesday, July 31st, 2024. So Saints camp rolling right along yesterday, guys. Another padded practice. Yesterday, Marshawn Lattimore still out. Brian Brzee still out, though, again, as Nick Underhill told us yesterday. Brzee, you feel maybe a bit better about the Lattimore stuff. Seems to be at odder. It's Lattimore's hip. Unfortunately, Chris Olave left practice early yesterday with a hip injury as well, and the details of which are still, we still don't know. So it's something to keep an eye on. Hope that it's not too serious. As far as the practice goes yesterday, Jake, it is now the second day in a row in which Chase Young has garnered headlines. He's still doing limited full team reps, but I'll just read you an excerpt from Nick Underhill's New Orleans.football article on Chase Young. Quote, "It wouldn't be overstating it to say that Young has had the most dominant performance by a defensive player this training camp. And even if there are other contenders for that title, they weren't as loud as Young's day. Young simply looks different than the rest of the defensive players. Skip a little bit. His traits stand out. He's a freak athlete. And when he's on, he's overwhelming. He had a two-play stretch where you really saw it coming off the left defensive edge. He sacked Derek Carr, following a play-action fake. Then on the next play, he was immediately in the backfield and blew up a reverse to Olave behind the line of scrimmage. He would go on to say he won both of his reps against Fuanga. in one-on-ones, which, I mean, welcome to the NFL. Talia Swanga, that's a tough assignment there. And it wasn't like he got dominated, says, but he was about to get in a rep against Trevor Penny. But basically, I guess the bottom line is that Chase Young, who we've seen the potential in the NFL. It's not like he's never been good in the NFL. Maybe he wasn't quite as consistent in Washington as they were hoping for, but when you signed him earlier this year, you have very high hopes, and then you run into the injury, and you kind of wonder, is this going to go down the classic woe is me, everything I want to do goes wrong path? But no, Young seems healthy, Jake, and he seems like he's very motivated, very locked in, and ready to dominate.
Yeah, you're talking about a number 2 overall pick in a very deep draft class.
Yeah.
Not in one that, who's going to be the number 1 pick? The Jags took a D lineman from Georgia. Who? I didn't even know that guy. It wasn't one of those. It was a very deep, one of the deepest maybe when we take a look back at it that there's been in a 25-year period. I mean, it was filled with superstars, and he was number 2 in that draft. And so the talent's there, and you're right. He has shown flashes. Staying healthy has been one of the things that he's certainly had trouble with. And coming into this, right, he's got an injury that he's trying to probably slow play a little bit here in training camp, but it doesn't feel like he's slow playing it with all the headlines that we've seen from him. But this could be such a good move for the Saints. I mean, they took a flyer. And and when they did, we were excited, but we didn't know about the injury. And then the injury comes out like right after. It's like, oh, man, here we go again. But the Saints saw what it could be, and they took a risk. And so far, the risk is paying off, and now you just hope that he stays healthy because it's something that you need. Like, you're looking for that position. You've got some guys that can do the other thing on the other side. Like, I still like Granderson.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly we love Cam Jordan, but you don't have an electric pass rusher. You've got good, steady, solid guys, but he would be a difference maker.
Yeah, I mean, remember, with Young as a rookie, 7.5 sacks, 4 forced fumbles. Now, kind of lost, got injured for a couple of years in a row. But then again, last year, ended up with 7.5 sacks again. So, I think there's a real chance. And that's after, he was on pace for well over 10 in Washington. He gets traded in the middle of the season to San Francisco, and his production kind of went down until the very end of the year. But I think there's a very good chance that this is going to be Chase Young's. If he stays healthy, I think he'll end up, or have a very good chance to end up with a 10-sack season, just given how much they're going to lean on him and highlight him this year. So I think, very exciting that the signing that we were so pumped up about seems to be coming together. Let's get to some of this sound. Let's go to Dennis Allen 3 here, Alondra. This is DA talking about Chase Young's disruptive play.
He got more reps today. I think the plan was kind of to try to get him about 3 or 4 reps in each team period. So I'd say he probably got around 9 reps or something like that today in practice, which is maybe about a half to a third of what he might normally get if he was taking full reps. But he's certainly a disruptive player, and you can tell the difference when he's out there. And so now it's really about slowly bringing him along, allow him to continue to get more and more reps so he gets his body in football condition, and then he can kind of make sure he understands what we're trying to do within the scheme.
So if conditioning and kind of still learning the scheme are still up in the air, how realistic is it for Chase Young to earn a starting spot?
All of my conversations with him and all of our dialect has really been just about him coming in, committing to what we're going to ask him to do, and working his tail off at doing those things and contributing to the team in whatever manner that is. And look, certainly he's out here competing, trying to be the best version of himself. And if he's one of the best 2 to have out there, then there's a chance that he's in the starting lineup.
Again, physically, it's hard to imagine he's not one of the best 2, though I guess like Cam and Granderson, you got to figure out how exactly that's going to work. But either way, that's a good issue to have to think about. Jake, here's maybe some of the more interesting camp audio that you hear, or that you will hear, in that it's kind of, remember when we played Kendre Miller, basically you can't make the team from the, you can't make a club from the tub?
Yeah.
I didn't quite say that, I'm paraphrasing. But we've talked a lot of receivers here, right? And we know Chris Olave is great. Rashid Shaheed feels like he's set up for a huge year if he can stay healthy as a number 2. We've been talking a lot about Mason Tipton, the UDFA, who Nick Underhill said yesterday is going to make this team. You know who we have not mentioned? A.T. Perry. Let's go to Allen 10, and we'll play 11 after that, Alondra. But here is Dennis Allen on what A.T. Perry needs to do.
I'd say he's kind of holding steady right now. I'm kind of waiting to see him, do something that's going to jump up and catch my eye a little bit. Certainly we've seen some other guys, step up and make some plays, some guys that maybe we might not have expected. But I think AT's doing fine. I do think that he's got to, do something to take that next step and make one of those plays that's going to kind of catch our eye a little bit.
So AT's doing fine. Is he doing fine enough to make the roster?
Well, doing fine in anything's not gonna end up cutting it, and so, yeah, I mean, he along with a lot of other guys have to do some things to, catch our eye and impress us, and so I'm still waiting on that from him.
That's kind of a funny turn of phrase. Not going to cut it, so you get cut.
I was just saying, like, when your wife asks, how do I look? And you say, fine. We all know what that means. Or, hey, how you doing, babe? Fine. We all know what that means.
Yes, yeah.
It's bad. It's not good. I'm not saying it's doomsday, but you got work to do, just like AT's got work to do.
Yeah, that doesn't sound great. That doesn't sound then it's so funny how camp really is just it's about making plays. It's about avoiding mistakes, but it's then like to make the team, it's about making plays. And it's funny to hear him talk about, look, basically like other guys have caught our eyes. Like they flashed. It feels like he's talking about Mason Tipton a lot there as well.
Yeah, for sure he was.
Why is this little 5'9", 171 Ivy League receiver making more plays than the 6'5"
all
Gazelle
ACC
from all ACC for Wake Forest? What's going on here? So that's something to keep an eye on, certainly going forward. Maybe the A.T. Perry experiment going to end sooner than we thought. Let's do some Taliesin Fuanga sound. We haven't heard a lot from Fuanga thus far, and these are shorter clips, so let's just roll through them. They asked him about switching from right to left tackle.
I don't think there's like a lot to it. It's just knowing your assignment, really. It goes from 9 to 8 and 8 to 9. Really just know your numbers and know what is left and right.
So what's funny is comparing that answer to Penning's yesterday. Remember? Because I remember when we played. Well, here, okay, Alondra, you getting Penning's? Okay, because like when we played Penning's yesterday, remember I was kind of like, I don't.
Yeah,
that's kind of interesting to me that he's because like that was always kind of, now obviously I did not play at that level, so understand that, but at the level that I did play at, going from left guard to right guard wasn't something overwhelming. I guess it would fall more on the Fuanga side. Here's what Trevor Penning said about switching sides.
It's definitely an adjustment for sure, but from the moment I figured out I was switching to now, I definitely feel a lot more comfortable. I feel like even going to the left side now would be a little weird. It would be kind of all backwards there. But it's been good so far. Just keep working every day and getting more comfortable with it.
And look, to be fair to Penny, maybe he's like just trying to like engage with the question there and be like, that's how committed I am to this new sides. Going back to the old one's weird, but like if you're an NFL tackle, like most of those guys can be pretty interchangeable. Like you keep 7 linemen on the roster because one of them is a swing tackle where you go in left or right. So yeah, I like that Fuanga was like, just numbers are different, even and odd. Here's the biggest thing that Taliesin Fuanga's learned thus far.
Really just learning the level of competition you're going against. I don't think there's really a big difference in the playbook wise. It's just every day I'm trying to learn a little bit more and more in the playbook, but I think the quality of the reps is kind of like learning different things with different players. So.
And speaking of the quality of the players, how's it facing Chase Young?
I think he's a great player. He plays with some speed and power. He has like a lot of different tools he could use. He's a big dude. I ain't really seen players like that in college, so it's a blessing to go against a guy like that. He's good.
I mean, that is kind of the theme with Chase Young, is that he's just a giant. He's just bigger than everybody out there. Finally, here's Taliesin Fuanga on the chemistry of the offensive line.
Just being able to like create a chemistry in the O-line room. I think when we have meetings and stuff, we're definitely a lock-in sort of mentality, but we always like to have fun and just learn about each other, learn who's from where, because it's we're all from the United States and all from different kind of places, and we all come to a room, and it's fun to have, but just being able to have that chemistry is just it's a good feeling.
Wong is speaking on the melting pot of America, all American yet from so many different places. I think he's. I mean, look, I think he's going to be really good. I think you have someone. The film looks good. I always think about that Jason Kelsey clip where he saw like 2 snaps and was like, "Oh yeah, okay, this guy's got it." But also, he sounds very confident in those answers. He doesn't sound overwhelmed. Doesn't sound like he's treading water. So I'm going to be.
I like his answers much better than I like Trevor Penning's yesterday.
Yes. And unfortunately, it's because one speaks to confidence and one does not.
Yeah.
And that's one of Penning's biggest problems right now is trying to rebuild said confidence. All right, let's do this. Let's go to break. And then when we get back, let's hear from, like I said, our Lord and Savior, Clint Kubiak. Can he save the New Orleans Saints season? Coming up next here on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to centralplumbing.org, 925-8552, centralplumbing.org, 925-8552. You want flat rate pricing, 24/7 emergency service, licensed, bonded, and insured employees. You want to take advantage of 50 years of experience, guys? It's all at Central Plumbing. But look, it's not just fixes. Let's say you need a bathroom remodel. Maybe you want to get like a tankless water heater or something. Central Plumbing's there for you. So don't think twice. Go to centralplumbing.org or pick up the phone and call 925-8552.
And we always remind you, not only in Central, anywhere here in this Baton Rouge area, we are talking to you. And 24/7, 365, emergency service. We give it to you all the time, and they can certainly be there for you. But also don't forget about what they can do for you in the remodel game. Like T-Bob said, no matter what it is, home or business, big or small, they've got you covered there as well. You can find all that information on their website, centralplumbing.org.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
There's nothing chill about a hot, sweaty line. Unless you add Mountain Cold Refreshment. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $20,000 off new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $20,000 off the powerful Ram truck. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial properties. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne
began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50.
Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR, presented by Pluckers. The Tigers report for camp, and we'll get you an update on Saints camp out in Irvine. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Yeah, it's hard to play, Taylor. You know, you got to win playing time. It's hard to do. Still complaining about your coach trying to make you be better on Road to Glory. Okay, you got to win the position battle.
That wasn't me. That was the dude who was sitting next to me on Friday. I wasn't complaining about Road to Glory. I worked my way up the depth chart. I didn't transfer out.
That's true. All right, let's get to Clint Kubiak then, as he met with the media yesterday, and we'll just start on. We'll start with Coobs one here. What is it? Am I crazy or no? It's who says I love it when a plan comes together. That's the guy from the A team, right?
I think so.
For some reason I was thinking it was Joker, but I'm pretty sure that's the guy from the A team. Anyway, Clint Kubiak.
Maybe the Joker says it too. I don't know.
How can you tell when an offense is coming together?
Well, I think it's stupid to say, but when we line up against Carolina, we want to see where we're at. You know, we want to be at our best in that first game. I think that we're really demanding of these guys, and we expect it to look right the first time. You know, is it going to be perfect? No, but that's what we expect as coaches, and we're trying to be really detailed as coaches and be hard on the guys. I am pleased with our progress. We're heading in the right direction.
Now, so much of this comes down to Derek Carr. Clint Kubiak, how do you feel that Carr's adapted to your offense thus far?
I can't say enough good things about Carr.
Oh.
From the way he studies, the type of professional he is. He's very coachable. He's hard on himself. He's hard on his teammates.
Yep.
He's got the demeanor you want.
I mean, play it again, Alondra. Play it again.
I can't say enough good things about Carr. From the way he studies, the type of professional he is. He's very coachable. He's hard on himself. He's hard on his teammates.
Oh, yeah.
He's got the demeanor you want.
Bro, come on, dog. Come on, dog. That sounds top 12, guys. Hold on now. You tell me Clint Kubiak's our savior, our sole hope in the darkness, and you're just going to ignore when he tells you that Derek Carr is everything he wants in a quarterback?
I talk about it all the time. Like George Bush. You ain't going to fool me twice. Okay?
What?
Ain't going to happen. Until he goes out there and shows me in game number 1. And again, I want him to, because that means the Saints are good. That means that this show is going to go in a great direction, because if LSU and the Saints are both good at the same time, I want to be proven wrong. I just don't think I am. And certainly from quotes from training camp.
Cube said,
what's he supposed to say?
Cube said he's hard himself.
Like, yeah, his eyeliner was running today. He's not a great quarterback, not the leader that we thought he was going to be. Gosh, I mean, when he got pressure, he just turned into a different quarterback. It was all bad. I actually would love that if he.
No, I mean, you're not going to say Carr's bad, but you also don't have to be that effusive. I don't think you do, personally, me. I mean, I've seen a lot of answers.
A head coach, maybe not, but a lot of coordinators will give you that.
I don't know. I still, no, that's an awful. That's, get fooled again. No,
Exactly.
I think he said harden coach, harden himself, and then Fawn says harden fans want to support him. Okay, guys. Okay.
He's hard on himself.
Zach Trosky says
he must hate himself last year.
You poor Saints fans fall for it every single year. Yeah. Guess what? I'm like that goofy meme. I'll do it again. Okay. Gosh, Mick, Derek Carr's going to be great this year. I don't care. Okay. I believe that somewhat.
I don't think somewhat. I mean, you put something pretty significant on the line.
No, I mean, even testicular gamble aside, I do think we've gone too far the other direction. I think we've gone too far the other direction potentially. Bond says it's training camp. Everyone's a superstar. But, I mean, that's not true. Penning's still not a superstar. The offensive line's still actually not playing that well. What?
A.T. Perry's got to work on some stuff.
A.T. Perry's got to work on stuff. Kendra Miller's got to work on stuff.
Yeah, we're talking about a 3rd and a 5th round pick to the quarterback that you gave a lot of money to. Same thing.
Let's jump ahead. We just talked about Taliesin Fuanga. Here's Clint Kubiak on his impression of his new left tackle.
I'm impressed with Tally. The guy is all football. He doesn't say a word. He works hard. He's hard on himself, very similar to the way I described Derek Carr. So I'm pleased with where he's at. He's the kind of guy we want to be the culture that we want to have. We just got to keep getting him better.
Bruh, I mean, 10 wins, man. 10 wins on the way. Book it. Let's go. He's just like Derek Carr. You heard him. You heard it right there. See? He's definitely not just saying the same empty platitudes about
we could take these words. Derek Carr is being compared to a rookie.
Yeah, exactly. Because he still has the youthful exuberance that it takes to relate to the younger players. That's a good point, Jake. I hadn't considered that. I mean, that's what I want on my quarterback. A leader of men. He's got to be able to connect on multiple levels. Maybe they're running NCAA 25 games or something after practice.
Maybe.
Okay, let's put it to the test. He was asked about Trevor Penning.
Okay.
Here he is.
This is the test.
More of the same. From the start, Trevor's been buying into everything we've coached him. We've been really pleased with him. And just up front, there's a lot of great leadership there. It starts with Eric McCoy, and guys follow Eric's lead. And Trevor is off to a good start.
See, that's different. That is different. It's still positive, but that's fake. Buying in, good start. He immediately went to McCoy and the rest of the O-line. Like, that's different than how he talked about Fuanga. That's different than how he talked about Carr.
Yeah, he said, McCoy's a great leader, and, Penning's there too.
Yeah.
That's basically what he said.
Like, okay, now give me the Chris Olave. See what he says about Olave.
And I hope he keeps working hard after I give it to him. But I've been pleased with his growth. He's really dialed into the details, and Coach Dub is a heck of a coach. It's been really fun working with Coach Dub and seeing how he pushes Chris. And Chris wants to be a great player, and you can tell in the way he practices.
Looks like he hates Chris Olave. Well, I don't know. No, I mean, look, I do think that Ryan says this. Trevor Penning's great. Eric McCoy. Yeah, I mean, that basically was the answer. All right, off of the players for a little bit. Clint Kubiak, how do you get your team to understand? This is 6, Alondra. How do you get to your team to understand that it's not just all scheme in order to be a successful offense?
I think it's as simple as, okay, when the clicker stops, all right, and it's man coverage, who's open, all right? Even though number one, the progression didn't get the ball. You might not have got the ball, it might not have been designed for you, but on the opposite side of the field is your comeback winning, and we're evaluating that as coaches. So that's what we talk about in meetings.
And finally, which one should we do here, Alondra? Dealer's choice. Which one do you think is it? Getting the offense to understand a new offense, attention to detail. What do you think?
The attention to detail one is a little interesting because he talks about how Dennis Allen is very detail oriented.
Okay, hit it.
It's Rick Dennison, it's John Benton. I mean, those veteran coaches, it starts with them. Okay, and all of us coaches are trying to be hard on our guys, not be satisfied. And it comes from Coach Allen too. Like, Coach Allen is the most detailed coach I know. He's hard on us as coaches. It's for us to be detailed with our players. So that's just the culture that Coach Allen has here.
Culture and Dennis Allen are not two things that have been mentioned too often together. So we'll see you guys. But there it is. You hear from Clint Kubiak a little bit more. I love what I heard out of Taliesin Fuanga. And DA continuing to apply some public pressure to some of these players. And kind of why not, right? He's got nothing to lose. If he needs to call out a guy and try to give him a little extra motivation, then do so, because your ass is on the line this year as to whether or not you all are good. All right. That'll be it from Saints Camp today. When we get back, we'll start to move on. We got a ton of college football talk coming up for you in hour number 2. Keep it locked right here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to Go Tommy's Tommys.com. That's GEAUXTommys.com. That's for all your windows, doors, and siding. You go to Tommy's, you're going to see the difference clearly. It's just 5. Let me give you 5 great reasons to choose Tommy's windows, doors, and siding. First, fully licensed and insured. Secondly, over 20 years of experience, coming up on 28 now. Third, they work all throughout Baton Rouge and throughout Louisiana. 4, they won the Super Service Award at Angie's every year since 2016. And 5, free professional estimate. So make them a bid on your next project and let them prove to while they're your answer. GEAUXTommys.com.
You can go to that website. You can check out the testimonials from past clients as well. And like everything you'll see in almost every review, it talks about the efficient manner of Tommy's and coming in and giving you exactly what you're looking for. Don't forget about those custom jobs. Go Tommys.com.
Get the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge app powered by Bayou Ford and tap the microphone icon to send us your thoughts in an audio message. Your message could be played on air during Off the Bench with Esther and T-Bob, The Hunt Palmer Show, and after further review with Matt Musco.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off F-150, $10,000 off the new 2024 Ford F-150, and all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. It's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly.
One more time.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Alondra, I mean, look, we just got to accept it. People hate the Saints.
Well, like, it just really, and look, I get it. I really do get it because I've said this before. Cutting DA audio is pretty miserable. Like,
Yeah.
I think it should be used as a punishment here. Like, if you're late, you're the one that has to cut the DA
Yeah, I like
audio.
that.
But they're getting progressively better. Like, the ones today weren't that bad.
I
and
agree.
I
They weren't
actually,
that good either.
I agree.
That's what I'm saying. They're not bad. But
I can't imagine that human
I
being.
do like the ones where he's calling people out. I do like those.
Quinn Kaufman says, no way we're going whole first hour with Paris Summer Sports and Saints talk.
We opened the show with Paris.
I know he's saying
They're
no way
saying-
that's what we're doing for the whole first hour.
I thought he wanted more
Tommy
Paris.
says, is the
What else are
Saints
we
talk
supposed to-
done? I didn't want my day ruined early, so I stepped out. Scott says, we survived Saints talk. Now let's get to college and go Tigers.
Lord.
I love the chat today right now.
Jesus, dude.
I can't imagine
really
Dennis
not that
Allen
bad.
getting in front of a group of men, by the way, and getting them fired up.
No.
Like, and them taking it
Cannot
seriously.
imagine.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Mm-mm.
I
Like
agree.
when I hear that sound, I'm like, oh my God. Like, how in the world does he create an emotion in the locker room?
I
Daniel
know,
says
just
I punched
anger.
the air at least 487 times because of Saints talk. Guys,
Out here
I mean, do we
shadowboxing.
hate the franchise? Do
Okay,
we
but
hate the franchise?
There's a lot of people out there that I'm like this a lot of time. College football all the time. I get
That's
it, but
true.
like they were mad 2 weeks ago when we led the show with Pelicans when it was the night of the NBA draft.
Yeah.
Like guys, you have to talk about it. Like nothing else is going on.
Yeah, yeah. But hey, you know what starts tomorrow? College football
LSU
training
crew.
camps. Yeah,
The
college football
report
training
today,
camps.
actually, so I think it starts today.
So now we can get even more empty audio for you every single morning. Get to work, Alondra.
I got you.
But
But again, I still think DA audio should be a punishment here.
it's a good call. It's very creative. It's not offensive
No.
as far as punishments go.
Yeah.
And it's definitely going to incentivize you to be better. So here's what I want to do next hour is I want to go team by team through the SEC. And as we sit here on the opening of training camp, the eve of training camp, I want to get to all the biggest storylines and questions that you see. Also, like I said, Chris Lowe has a really, we didn't talk about either. The NCAA, the antitrust settlement is officially set. And we're not going to belabor. Actually, you know what? Let me just run through some of the highlights here so that, because I don't want to spend too long on it, except for the walk-on angle.
Yeah.
I do think that we need to talk about because it's very interesting what this could all mean for walk-ons, potentially the death of walk-ons. But if you didn't know, the House and the NCAA have been involved in that's the name of it, House versus NCAA. It's an antitrust lawsuit. And players will now start to be paid next summer from the schools directly to the tune of $23.1 million a year. That cap will go up 4% all 10 years of the agreement. So in 10 years, in the final year of the settlement, it'll be $32.9 million a year. That number comes with a formula that gives athletes 22% of the average 22% of what the average power conference school makes from media rights deals, ticket sales, and sponsorships. It is not clear how Title IX will affect this money. I believe it seems like it's revenue based, so I think the higher revenue generating sports will get the majority of it, and split along those lines. But we'll see. The NCAA is hoping this will affect NIL, but I don't really see any reason to think that it will. They say they're going to create a new organization to monitor the legitimacy of these NIL deals and get people in trouble. Attorneys doubt the NCAA will be able to do this. And then how about this, Jake? So remember, the settlement is for players. The settlement's for $3 billion. The overall settlement, like unpaid NIL opportunities, right? The cutoff is 2016. But this is crazy. Football and basketball players from power conferences who can be in this settlement will be eligible to get an average of $135,000. Women's basketball players from power conferences at the same time could get an average of $35,000. And the likely payout from other athletes will depend on how many interclaims and kind of your profile. And like for some, if you had enough of a profile and you can prove, hey, I would have made a lot of money. Like, for instance, a lawyer said that the highest individual estimated payout for one athlete would be $1.8 million. How about that, bro? $135K. Come on, can we bump that from 2016 to 2011, bro? Come on.
Or if you were a really good
please.
teammate, you would have gone to 07 where we both played.
Please.
But
Nah, you made NFL money. You're good, dude.
I would have made more in college
He's great. Yeah.
than I made in the NFL.
Well, no, but I'm talking about this $135K though.
I'll take $135,000.
Yeah, but I think I needed more though, so I think I should get it. Is what I'm saying.
Why? I can't.
Yeah, because I need more. So yeah, I should.
Okay.
But you know what? Neither of us are getting it, so it doesn't matter. But shout out to everyone who is. I'm very happy for you. That's awesome. That's going to be a good feeling. Make sure, if you're eligible, make sure to get involved in this suit, guys. Okay? Do not screw this up.
I mean, yeah, it's awesome, but also like, man, if I played in 2015, whew, that was my last year, that would suck.
Yeah, exactly right. Things can always be worse.
Like, there's going to be some cat that nobody knows, his own fan base doesn't know. It's going to get like 100 G's, and there's going to be a superstar 2015 that probably didn't have an NFL career, doesn't get nothing.
So we'll talk next hour about what's going on with the walk-ons because gone are scholarship limits, but now there are roster limits, and the walk-ons may be squeezed out of this thing. So we'll kind of discuss, is this a good change or a bad change? Because it does create a lot more scholarship opportunity. We'll get there. I mean, Jake, it's like we talked about the baseball players, right? Like, so baseball rosters now going to be a 34, but you can now have up to 34 full scholarships. Think if you're one of these old head baseball players, and not only are these cats now going to get full schollies, but they're also going to get paid on top of it. So yeah, you can always be timed worse, I suppose. All right, hour one of the books. Hour two, SEC football top to bottom. Share with your friends. Hit the like button. More OTB coming up next.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to Community Steel Company, communitysteelco.com, communitysteelco.com. You go to Community Steel Company today for all of your steel needs. You need purlin, tubing, trim, sheet metal, steel buildings, any steel accessories. It's all manufactured right there in Gonzales, Louisiana. You can get to know the live and local sales team, and through that, they can form a relationship with you and better know how to serve you, your needs, personal or business. And it's at the best prices, which is honestly what matters most, right? Like at the end for a lot of us, especially nowadays, best prices, better than national companies, better in every single way. Go to communitysteelcompany.com.
They are in Gonzales, Louisiana, and they have been there for 56 minutes already. So if you want to go see them, go to the website, find out where that location is in Gonzales. But we always tell you, you can pick up the phone throughout the state of Louisiana. Give them a call if you can't get to Gonzales today. That is at 225-647-2020.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $20,000 off new 23 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $20,000 off the powerful Ram truck. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques, Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Good morning. It's 8 a.m. here on Wednesday, July 31st. Today in Baton Rouge, expect mostly sunny skies with a high of 93 in hour 2 of today's show. We'll talk the biggest question marks for every SEC team heading into the 2024 college football season, and we'll also preview LSU practice coming up here on Thursday. You can follow us on Twitter or Instagram at OTB_ESPN and watch us on YouTube at the 104.5 ESPN channel. Hour number 2 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz Baton Rouge studios, starts now.
Let we go! All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo, yo, yo.
All right, hour number 2 of OTB, and we got some great Dennis Allen sound to get to. We're going to reset the hour, guys. Who's excited for some Saints talk? Here is Dennis Allen on Taliesin Fuanga. Just kidding.
Yeah, don't look for that, Alon.
I was really looking for it. I wish you would have told me beforehand because I would have actually been super funny.
I would have taken 5. I would have taken a lap.
We should have gone full Andy Kaufman and just really actually done the entire segment or maybe the entire hour just replaying Dennis Allen's song.
If you would have told me, I would have had it ready.
All right, so it seems like maybe the walk. Should we close the loop on the settlement and talk about the future of walk-ons in college sports, or should we dive into SEC and come back to the walk-ons?
Dive into the SEC.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool.
I think for the walk-on, you could sum it up. The ones that can will have all scholarship players. The ones who can't will still have walk-ons.
So you mean who
Because
can fund the full 105 scholarships?
Yes.
Okay. So we're here. We'll close the loop. So basically, as a part of the settlement, the NCAA can no longer impose scholarship limits, but they can do roster limits. So they bumped the roster down from 120 to 105, but now instead of 85 scholarships, major schools will be able to do 105 scholarships. On one hand, this is great. That's about, let me check my notes here, because they actually have an estimated number on how many new scholarships that creates per. Yeah, because of Power 4 teams. Wait, where'd it go? Where are you, boo-boo? There you are. No, you're not. There you are. Yeah.
I mean, at minimum 1,200, just off
1,300. There we go.
Head,
yes. Yeah. So there'd be about 1,300 new scholarships created. That's a lot of great new opportunity. If you're a preferred walk-on, you're probably a scholarship player now. That's awesome. The bummer, Jake, comes in that at these major schools, the dream of I've always wanted to be a part of this team, and I know, I don't care, you don't think I'm good enough. Even if I don't think I'm good, I'm just willing to work my ass off, and I'm going to do everything I can so I can be at practice, so I go to the banquets, I can maybe go to a game, dress a time or two. That dream is dead. You can no longer go be a part of a program just because you want it more than anything. And that is a bit of a bummer because I made a lot of friends that way, and I know a lot of people who I've witnessed work harder than almost people I've ever seen work at anything else. And they never got any great rewards, but they fulfilled their dream of putting on that uniform or getting to practice with like Glenn Dorsey and stuff like that. So it's gray. It's gray, right? There's a lot of good in this change, and there are some bummers as well.
I would agree with you. And the story that we always give, kind of the example that we always give, is our guy Chris Doring. Chris Doring went to PK Young High School. It is the same thing that University Lab School is here for LSU. It is on Florida's campus. He went there from elementary, middle, and high school dreaming of being a Gator. His parents were both Gators.
Yep.
And that's what he wanted to do. He had some other opportunities to maybe go somewhere else. He didn't want to. He wanted to walk on and be a Florida Gator. He walked on. He was that guy, and then he became the all-time leader in every category for receiver in the SEC and played a decade in the NFL. Like, that's his story.
Yep.
And I hate that you're going to lose that. Like, I truly do. I mean, we could give 1,000 stories on walk-ons, and I know Taylor's probably like wanting to say Baker Mayfield out loud right now. I know, 2-time walk-on, we know. But like what T said, there's guys that, like Adoring, guys that grew up in Columbus, Ohio as well, always wanted to be a Buckeye, wanted to get one little helmet sticker somewhere on their helmet and say, like, I did that. Same thing for LSU. Can talk about so many walk-ons that just running out of the tunnel, hitting the wind bar, and hearing the roar of the crowd, that's why they practiced so hard. That's why they went through the suck of training camp, just to have that feeling 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, however many times it was. So I do hate that. I do hate that that's not going to be available. And I also do love the fact that you're going to have 20 extra scholarships for every major program. Now, I don't think every program in the FBS can do this.
Power 4 will do it?
Power 4 will, yes.
Yeah.
Without question. All 133 or whatever we're up to now, 134, they won't be able to do it. There's probably
quick math, by the way.
What?
You earlier with the 1,200.
There's probably 35, 40 teams that probably won't get to that number. But still, like you're saying, T-Bob, 1,300. Look, I got a son that's about to start high school football. 1,300 extra scholarships. Sign me up for that. Like, that's exciting. So it's a weird situation where you really, really can see the benefits of both sides.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine that. Like many things in life, it is not one thing or the other. Because to me, it's like Doring's story, Mayfield's story. They probably end up in that extra 20, potentially, right? Like, they may have a chance.
They probably would have gotten that scholarship. Yes.
It's like, I think about my guy Sarge, who had just completed a tour in Iraq, right? And then he'd always dreamed of being a part of LSU, and he comes back and he walks on, and eventually he ends up covering kicks.
Yeah, he was in our running back room. He was great.
But he would have never gotten chosen for one of those 20 scholars.
No.
And so that path is dead. And that's a huge bummer. It's not a bummer that the fans will ever feel. It's not a bummer that you'll ever notice. Because it's kind of a behind the scenes bummer, but it's a bummer nonetheless. But again, 1,300 new scholarships is awesome, and now a lot of kids are going to get their dreams made that wouldn't have otherwise. So now I will say this: somebody in the chat, Chris says the NCAA does one good thing and 3 things bad. Walk-on should never be eliminated. I'll actually come to the NCAA's defense here. This is them being put in a legal bind. The settlement as a piece of proving that they're not a trust, the settlement deemed that scholarship limits are, I believe, unconstitutional. Now, why is there a difference between like roster limits and scholarship? I don't know, right? That's for people who are smarter legally than me to figure out. But this does feel like the NCAA trying to thread the needle of, okay, how can we make, we can't have, but we can't have unlimited scholarship. Like, we can't, that gives a rich school would then just be able to get, just put way more people than somebody who couldn't. So you have to do something. So it's a bit of just an ancillary effect on the, on us all sussing out in the modern legal sense, what is the NCAA and how do we finally make them in line with kind of how we treat the rest of American society.
Another portion of this, so you add 20 scholarships, and if we're sticking with the Power 4, those 1,300 scholarships, and you can say, well, like Georgia and Alabama and all these teams, they would just get unlimited. They'd get 200 players, but here is the other side of it. Only 22 start. Only 50 maybe play, right? Meaningful minutes, special teams, offense, defense. Now what are you going to have? more portal players. Because if you're giving out all these scholarships, there's only so many positions to play.
Yeah.
And you're going to have people, even more so than now, jump into the transfer portal. Those numbers are going to go up. And it's going to change the dynamic, because if you already have the portal numbers where they're at with 85 scholarship players, you throw in 105, there's going to be some unhappy people with their playing time.
I think, too, I think we'll see high school classes probably increase to maybe like an average of 30 players per signing class or something from 25. I know there's no limits there anymore.
You're saying just on average.
Maybe on average, you start going in low 30s. I think you're going to see a lot of group of 5 players. Guys that would have ended up in the group of 5 now are going to end up in some of these signing classes, and like Jake said, through the portal, continuing to ascend. So be very interested to see over time how this all plays out. But the NCAA has officially reached their settlement. All right. When we get back here on OTB, now it is time for it to just mean more. As we're going to break down SEC training camp storylines, questions facing each teams, all the way from Georgia to Vanderbilt. I don't have a single sentence written about Vanderbilt. Spoiler alert. Coming up next here in OTB.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge, allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com. You go to All-Star Toyota today, and they're going to get you in the vehicle that you and your family need. I would say check out the hybrids, man. My new Sienna is a hybrid, and it's crazy how much money you save on gas, and yet you don't have to sit there and charge your car for 30 minutes. Have y'all seen those Cybertrucks starting to roll around town?
I have.
Taylor, you just look so angry.
Memphis points one out every time we see one.
Oh, yeah. They look pretty stupid. You know what doesn't look stupid? A murdered out minivan, okay? Or a big Tundra. Or a luxury SUV Sequoia. Okay, so again, hybrids, guys. That's the way. Go in today. Go see my airline Goodwin. All-Star Toyota Baton Rouge.
Hey, if you can't make it in, like T-Bob said, go check out that website. Buying new, leasing, or renting, they've got you covered, because everything's available in all 3 of those processes. AllStarToyotaBatonRouge.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the GymsFirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the GymsFirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And that. So go the extra mile. It's Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Unless you add mountain cold refreshment. Coors Light, choose chill.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. It's in your blood. Flip the switch and learn more about
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment. On the Gulf Coast. That's 756-2644.
I've been doing business with Rugby for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Welcome back to the Big Ten on CBS. Today's matchup, Rutgers at Iowa.
I would watch
Actually, that'd
every
be a good game,
snap
dude.
of that.
I was trying to. I should have done Maryland instead of Iowa.
I would have watched every snap of Rutgers, Iowa.
That said, the joke
Purdue.
there is that's what this music is going to be introing, unfortunately.
Yeah. UCLA,
Oh, yeah.
Maryland.
Yeah, see, there we go. That's what I was actually looking for. Rutgers lucky. I don't even know if Rutgers plays Iowa. Rutgers plays nobody.
Rutgers misses Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, and Iowa. And Oregon. Actually, they may play Iowa. They miss Oregon. They missed the Big Four. I think they do play Iowa. But they miss Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, and
So it's
Oregon.
actually a very realistic chance you'll hear this music, Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson talking about Rutgers versus Iowa.
Yeah, and I'm going to watch every single snap.
I mean, I watch. I'll be actually, to be fair. So I've been using it as a bridge to let live viewers come in, and then I cut it out the podcast, so I don't put it on the actual audio podcast.
I mean, it's on the live.
Yeah, but it's kind of like an on ramp.
Kyle Monunga hit.
It's kind of like an on ramp, and yeah, I'm gonna. NCAA 25 is a way bigger deal than Kyle Monunga. It sold millions of consoles. GameStop, as a national company, was literally out of Xboxes because of NCAA 25.
To each their own.
I never heard of Kyle Monunga until you told me about it.
That's on you, Ricky Bobby.
How did Kyle Monunga get on your radar? No, Rutgers was pretty good last year, but
I told you, look, I'm looking right now. He's on the all-meathead team.
no, that's what I'm
watched him
saying.
play.
How did he end up on the all-meathead team?
I watched him play multiple times last year. I watched him against Michigan. Certainly watched him in the bowl game against Miami. And it was one of those games where Miami was like tapping out in the third quarter, like, all right, we're tired of hitting him or getting hit by him. So that's how he found his way. Quarterback issues for Rutgers, but outside of that, they returned 16 starters, I believe.
Yeah, they were pretty good last year. Look, Greg Schiano's good at Rutgers, you know? I don't know what it is.
16 starters, yeah.
Greg Schiano's good at Rutgers. And what are we talking about, though? We were supposed to be talking about the SEC. My bad. All right, so let's go team by team, all 16 of them, guys. Taylor, Alondra, feel free to jump in whenever. Let's start. We're going to do main questions and storylines, okay? Kind of think narratives and then, like, what are the actual on-the-field questions. For UGA, let's start with the Bulldogs. For me, this is kind of like, okay, daddy is finally gone. Your daddy, Nick Saban, that is. Are you ready to step up and be a father now? Okay, the house is yours. We've left you the keys. Are you ready to prove that you can be the man of the household? Or will you let all the little underlings, Texas and Ole Miss and LSU and Tennessee, will you let the, will you let the kids run rampant? What do you think? Is Georgia going to slot in and dominate this conference the same way that Alabama has?
No, I don't think so. I think you added two really good programs in Oklahoma and Texas. I think there's some other teams. I don't know that we'll ever see what Alabama did ever again. The game's changed. Like, Alabama didn't dominate to their standard once the game changed. Think about it. Like, since 2021 and NIL and transfer portal where it's at, they were still really, really good, but they didn't dominate like they once did because it's almost going to be impossible, not to speak in absolutes, but it's going to be close to impossible to do so. It doesn't mean they won't win a lot of games and win championships. Georgia will, but not at the clip that Alabama was. And so this year, if Georgia had another logo on the side of their helmet we would be talking about their schedule and how brutal it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually a testament to what Kirby has built in that we don't talk about that, because you're right. Georgia has, I mean, there ain't nothing easy about what they got going on.
I mean, let's take right there in the middle of their schedule. At Alabama, Auburn, Mississippi State, at Texas.
Yeah.
That's not
at
easy.
Alabama and at Texas. Isn't there another big road game they got to?
Yeah, they got at Ole Miss. And then the following week, they've got Tennessee.
At Alabama, at Texas, at Ole Miss. Okay, Georgia, I see you, Bo.
And that's not, as we say, roll the helmet out there with the G on it and go get those games. They got to go to Kentucky, too. And I know you're going to, do your whole deal, but that's not an easy place to play. I've been to a game there. It's a really good environment. They'll win the game, but they feel that game.
As long as we don't do what we did last year, where Georgia smashes Kentucky, and all of a sudden we're like, "Oh, Georgia's awesome now!" Like that, and then I'm fine with it. Whatever.
No, they were awesome.
They were awesome before. Was my point. It wasn't like them smashing Kentucky meant anything to me either way.
Was Kentucky coming off beating the hell out of Florida that week before?
I'm not talking about Kentucky.
Where Ray Davis ran all over them.
For Georgia, look, to me, last year, what'd we say? We said they're going to smash everybody. They're going to put up incredible stats. But what happens when you run into a team that is at or near your level? And unfortunately, they ran into Alabama, and that was a team that with their defense was really well suited to shutting down the kind of lack of weapons that Georgia had. And so for me, the song kind of remains the same. I mean, Carson Beck was incredible in year one. I think year two, he's going to be, maybe the best quarterback in the entire country. But when they run up against the best, now I feel like Texas won't really be able to stress them in this way. And granted, Alabama is replacing a ton in that secondary. But will the Georgia weapons be enough this time around if it comes to a playoff scenario against maybe Caleb Downs and that Ohio State secondary? That's my big question with them.
No, I don't think the weapons are going to be enough to win a national championship. I think they're going to win a lot of games. But when I look at the schedule and I look, your two leading rushers are no longer there. We know you're missing Brock Bowers. We know you're missing Lab McConkey. Ra Thomas situation up in the air. Production on the field, but also leadership that you're losing. Yeah. I think Carson Beck's still going to get his, but it's going to be very tough against some of these teams to put up the points that you're going to need. If your defense isn't perfect, if they have a bad day, can you keep up in a track meet?
Yeah, and Ra Thomas not. I don't think he's going to factor in at all anywhere. Taylor, do you want to hop in before we move on to Texas?
No, I mean, I think it has to be receiver. Outside of Lovett, what do you have? I mean, Oscar Delp has a real shot at leading this team in receiving.
They got the dude from, it's not from Iowa, from Stanford, that nobody ever, that he was, PFF had the top 5 tight end in the country. They didn't have Delp in there. What is his name? Ursic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, they got Etienne. I mean, that's the biggest weapon pickup.
I think Etienne's good. I don't think he's elite. Who's your downfield receiver? Because, both those tight ends are going to be good. They're not take the top off of defenses. No. You had that the last couple of years. Even with Bowers, McConkey was a good downfield receiver. Ra Thomas made some plays. I mean, I don't think you have the weapons to scare the secondaries.
Yeah, Georgia has been missing Cortez Hankton ever since he left. All right, next on the list, Texas. And I'll go to Lord of the Rings here. Sure, we've had one breakfast. But what about second breakfast? Can you do it twice, Texas? Okay. You got one. Congrats. Can you do it again?
I like that reference, by the way. I appreciate that. Here's why I think Texas can do it. They returned 15 starters. They returned Quinn Ewers at quarterback. The guys that they lost to the draft, they went and got veteran players out of the transfer portal to plug and play in those positions. They had a plan in the portal, and they stuck to that plan. So you go get a tight end, you go get a couple of defensive linemen, you go get some receivers. And so you look at that, you like that, and also you like the fact that their schedule is just not that difficult for it being in the SEC. Sure, you have to go to Michigan. That's Michigan that returns the least amount of production outside of Washington of any Power 4 team in the country, okay? So that's going to favor you. In your first 4 games outside of Michigan, it's Colorado State at home, UTSA at home, ULM at home, Mississippi State at home. You like them in all those games, right? Now, you got Oklahoma and Dallas. We all know that. You lost that game a year ago, and then Georgia the next week. That's brutal. But if you split those games, if you just split those games, you're going to be a big favorite in every other game, depending on how A&M goes at the last game of the season. But if you just split those games, that's all you have to do, and you run the table, then you're in the college football playoff.
Yeah. You talk about the schedule being a bit easier. Here's a little fun fact for Sooner fans to get upset about. 6 of Oklahoma's 8 SEC games are against top 25 teams. 2 of Texas' 8 SEC games are against top 25 teams. Here's my deal. They're replacing 11 draft picks. So they're a weird mixture where you're right. They have like 15 returning starters, but they're also replacing their largest draft exodus since 1994. Specifically at receiver, you're losing 172 out of 182 catches from last year. So like Isaiah Bond, Matthew Golden, Silas Bolden, they're going to have to prove. I think they can, but they have to prove that they can make up for that. And then it's all about the secondary for me with Texas. You brought in talent. You brought in Makuba from Clemson, 3-year starter over there to play safety. Malik Muhammad, year number 2 at corner, is probably pretty solid. But like that secondary did not look great in the spring game. I know they had injuries and maybe they weren't at full strength, but like that's what killed them last year, right? And that's what could potentially kill them again this year is whether or not the secondary can hold up and how much of a step back maybe that interior defensive line takes. But that said, I still think they are a playoff team when it's all said and done.
Look for
Even though Michigan's going to be so interesting, dude.
They will be, but they got quarterback issues, and they got a really good defense, but I don't know where the points are going to come. Michigan is going to try to big boy Texas probably because of what you just said. You're missing those 2 defensive tackles that were just rocks in the middle of your defense, but they went out and they got 3 grad transfers.
Yeah.
Like 3 old dudes to put into the middle to try to shore up what you lost in the NFL draft.
But, dude, that Michigan culture, I mean, Texas still doesn't strike me as tough. They're better. They still don't strike me as tough.
So I'm not saying they're the toughest by any means, but like you go get a defensive tackle from like a guy that went to Arizona. You go get Norton, who was at Georgia at one time. Like you go get them from tough programs. I know a couple of coaches on this staff. I played with a couple of coaches in the NFL on this staff that are tough dudes, and they've been there over the last 2 years. So the culture's changing. It's not there yet. I'm not saying that they're the toughest football team, but it is not what Herman was at Texas, where it's like, hey, let's go beat up Texas. They'll quit.
I don't know, man. 20 million this roster. 20 million. Maybe they can overcome what A&M could not, and what Miami could not thus far.
And it's a valid point, but you go look at, like, they go get guys from UTSA that I think they know what it looks like to have to, go through it and what they've got to do to go out there and not maybe worry about the $20 million. Like Trey Moore, I think it was UTSA, UCLA now at Texas at edge rusher. So I think they did a nice job in the portal of trying to find players that probably still had that chip on their shoulder. Because $20 million and you're a college kid and you're spreading that out, everybody's got deep pockets.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just wonder, I don't know. Because like Michigan is the ultimate culture win and has been over the last few years. We'll see. Maybe they go out and smash Michigan and it's like, okay, never mind, they're awesome. Next on the list, we'll go to break, Alabama. And look, for Alabama, the narratives are obvious, right? A true new era of Alabama football. And it's interesting, Jake, we always talk about it from the offensive side of the ball, but what about the defense, right? The first time the defense will not be architected by Nick Saban in a very long time. Now, Kane Womack's great. Another head coach to coordinator switch there, and I'm sure he's going to be great. But it still is interesting to think about an Alabama defense being fielded with Nick Saban having no say.
No, it's a great point and one that not a lot of people are bringing up. And Kane Womack, somebody that you and I both think a lot of, and you're a head coach somewhere, and a head coach that went to Oklahoma State and beat the hell out of them. Still one of the crazier games from a year ago, but you're like, hey, Alabama's calling. I'm going to go answer that call. And so I think they'll be solid over there. But, Nick Saban's one of the best defensive minds that we've ever had in college football. So we'll see what that looks like. And it's going to be a question. It's not my biggest question with Alabama, but my biggest question is who is going to catch the football?
Yeah.
Bernard comes over from Washington. He's a good player. He was a 4. Now they had 3 NFL guys in front of him, but he was a 4 last year. You're expecting him to maybe be your 1.
Yep.
Kendrick Law can do a lot of different things, but I don't think being a true receiver is the best thing that he does.
It's never a place you want to be, but they're going to rely on Ryan Williams, the 5-star freshman. He was Mr. Alabama. He was Kalen DeBoer's first big win, keeping him from Auburn. Reports are he did really good I think he was there for spring. I know that reports
Everybody's there for spring now, you know.
Yeah, reported like during spring and summer, the early returns. Like, remember how like Jeremiah Smith got his black stripe removed from his Ohio State helmet quicker than anybody's ever done it? They're talking about Ryan Williams in the same way. It's funny. There's 3 massive freshman wide receivers that teams are really going to rely on. Ohio State with Jeremiah Smith, to a lesser extent. Alabama's really going to rely on Ryan Williams, and Auburn's really going to rely on Cam Coleman.
Yeah.
And I'll be interested to see if those guys all live up to the billing. But yes, for Alabama, it is all about the weapons.
Receiver in 2024, college football is very tough to be the impact. It's just, the receiver position's just tough. I mean,
you think? Is it because like in the NFL, we've seen now rookies be able to have success where for 100 years in NFL history they couldn't.
Right. That's a different jump, I think, from the coverages and different things you see. I'm just like I go back always to Jamar Chase his freshman year. We all knew that he was going to be a dog. You could see it. It's like he's going to be the next one. But his freshman year, it was like a slice of the playbook because there's just so many different things and all these coverages and how they disguise them and how do you get open. Again, they'll find a way. They'll throw him a now. He'll get the ball in his hands. He'll make somebody miss and go 60. That will happen this year. But it's just so hard because defensive coordinators, when you're a young player, they know how to fool you.
Yeah.
I mean, same thing for me in pass protection when I was a freshman. I'm like, hold up, Jimbo. You want me to block him, and him if he comes? I'm
Let's
like,
go through your progression, dude.
We're like, wait, hold up. And then there was be like, if there's 2 off the edge,
Inside
like,
out, high-low.
you take the first one, the tailback takes the second one. But if the second one comes, the first one doesn't come, then that's your guy.
Head body.
I'm like, wait, what? I mean, I remember Jimbo being like, yeah, it's not hard. I'm like,
Jimbo was kind of notorious for that, though, wasn't he?
So he was. But again, he can be impactful for sure. He'll make plays this year. You're going to have somebody of Bernard Law, Prentice step up and be a dude alongside because you got to be like Jefferson was Jamar Chase's freshman year. Like he was the guy.
Yep.
And then Jamar
That's
made
true.
the plays off of him. You got to have a guy step up.
All right. When we get back, we still got a ton more to get to going through the SEC. Keep it locked right here on OTB.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to ColemanRoof.com for Coleman Roofing and Construction, y'all. That's ColemanRoof.com. The most complete, the most reliable, and the most respected roofing company in all of Louisiana. I don't care if it's residential. I don't care if it's commercial. Why choose Coleman? Integrity, quality, and innovation. That's right, integrity. The underlying force that binds us to our customers and to each other is a relationship based on trust, quality, a multifaceted goal that can only be defined, measured, and achieved through 100% customer satisfaction, innovation, a commitment shared by every member of the organization to the continuous improvement of our expertise. You see this all laid out here because that's how they approach the work, y'all. And that's why you get the best product on the back end. Go to ColemanRoof.com.
Go to the website today to see that contact information throughout the state of Louisiana. Gonzales, Baton Rouge, Mandeville, Houma, Lafayette. We are talking to you commercial and residential. Coleman Roof, Louisiana's most reliable and respected roofing company.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off F-150. $10,000 off the new 2024 Ford F-150. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, party plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com. Oh, by the way, we do shutters too.
Performing is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. So it's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Esther and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Welcome back, OTB.
What was that? You remember when you used to do that and Danny would get so mad?
Yeah.
He gets so mad at you.
It's what this song makes me want to do. Too much Trailer Park Boys. Oklahoma. Next on the docket, guys. Oklahoma, obviously the narrative is just, hey, babe, you ready? You ready for the SEC? Because it's kind of looking like me, you're going through puberty. And you're switching schools while in the depth of puberty. Sprouting hair, all sort of swirling emotions going through your gut. Like, that's the worst time ever to switch schools. And unfortunately, that's what Oklahoma feels like right now. An insecure junior high kid who's going to a new school surrounded by big, badass bullies.
Oklahoma's ready to move. It's not that they're showing up on the first day in a bad outfit and a bad haircut. It's just they're showing up with like 17 other people that look as good because of their schedule.
I mean,
they were 10-3. They were 10-3 last year.
They've got a little acne in braces, though.
I don't know, man. They were 10-3 last year. They returned 15 of those starters. They were 10-2. Beat Texas last year. They lost a bowl game against a really good Arizona team. Jackson Arnold's first start. Brent Venables. After talking with him at media day, like I believe in this team more. I just think the schedule's the only reason I can't give myself over to Oklahoma. There's a lot of good still on this roster.
I mean, they're replacing everybody offensively. They have a completely new offensive line. They've got a completely new quarterback. They have
7 guys
major
that
battles
games,
at running backs and wide receiver. Let's look at returning production and see where they fall on there. Yeah, to me, I mean, it's just, again, they feel like a developmental. They feel like they're in a developmental
They're
stage.
38th in the country in experience.
Okay, let's see. 67th in returning production. So it's a bit of a mixed bag.
It does include transfers and Bill Connolly still. This is experience. So experience of college football, they've got 38 in the country.
That's not bad. I even think last year's 10-3 season is weird, though, because it is a success, but it's also kind of not. But again, now you lost Dylan Gabriel, the O-line, all these people that made you 10-3 last year. Again, I don't think they're awful by any stretch.
Your 2 losses in the regular season were by a combined 8 points, both on the road.
Yeah, you blew it and you put your arch rival over the top, and then you got smoked in the bowl game. I don't want to sound like I'm too down because they have recruited well. You get Dominic Williams, who's been a beast. Obviously, LSU really wanted him. And I think I used to think they were going to be like 6-6 and probably more like 8-4 now against a very tough schedule. But
maybe the toughest in the country, including Florida.
8-4, as we said, 6 of Oklahoma's 8 SEC games against ranked teams. My main question's on the field. Again, the whole offense is new. Can Jackson Arnold live up to the billing? How can the offensive line gel? And what about receiving running back where you got a lot of competition? And then second, can Brent Venables get the defense to be like a top 6 defense in the SEC? I mean, that's not even that high of a bar. That's supposed to be his side of the ball. They were awful year one. They were better last year. You've added a lot of good recruiting and transfer portal talent there. How good can Brent Venables make the side of the ball that is supposed to be his side of the ball?
So for the offensive line, you are right, but they go out and they get 3 guys from the portal, junior or senior players. Doesn't always mean it's going to work, but they're not counting on young guys. Defensively, they get a couple of defensive linemen through the portal. The rest of them are returning starters, and so it's going to be a unit that has a lot of experience. And my biggest question mark is not going to be on that side of the football. I do think that they'll continue to make that improvement. It's kind of like we talk about, will Jackson Arnold take that next step? And it's wild because in Tennessee at LSU's case, I feel better about their first time starting quarterback. Jackson Arnold, very highly touted player, 5-star, top 5 player in the country. And there was some good in that Arizona, but there was also some of the things that I'm like, oh man, I don't know if you're quite ready yet. I thought he was great at media days, but Jackson Arnold's going to be the biggest question mark. And I think that's why you go get a Casey Thompson in the portal. You go get a guy who's as veteran as veteran's going to be. I think it's his 6th year in college in case things go wrong, in case you need somebody to solidify that position and not go, the ceiling's not going to be near as high, but maybe just a little bit more steady. So it's all going to fall on the quarterback because you go get Deion Burks from Purdue to play receiver. I think he's a really good football player. You have Nick Anderson coming back. There's some good there, but it's all going to go to how Jackson Arnold goes.
All right, next up on this list, we got Ole Miss. And look, for Ole Miss, this is just about prove it. Can you ascend, right? You're the darling. You look excellently put together on paper. You're the most experienced quarterback in the SEC. You were already better defensively than I realized last year, guys. If you look at points per game given up just in conference games, Ole Miss was 6th in the conference. Pretty damn good.
It is good.
And that's not with cupcakes. It's just conference games. They were 6th, and they should be better after adding Walter Nolan and Uman Miele and everybody else that they've added defensively. So the bottom line is for Ole Miss this entire year is just about prove it.
Yeah.
Because we feel like outside looking in, you are that guy. Now you just got to go see if we're right or not.
Yeah, I mean, you keep on going if you wanted to on defense. Chris Paul Jr., Amos coming over from Alabama. You got Hamilton at corner coming over. You have a lot. And a lot of guys that we've seen actually make plays in the SEC. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're not coming from a group of 5 school and you're wondering, can they translate to this level? No, they've done it. They've done it within the same conference. Ole Miss has added so many players, and T, you've heard me use this before, but they've added so much that we don't even talk about a guy like Juice Wells that they added. Juice Wells was a part of every SEC conversation heading into the league last year because of what we thought he was going to be at South Carolina. He got injured, and his season kind of went away, so we didn't talk about it. But when we had a South Carolina conversation on any show I was on, it was like, Juice Wells.
Yeah.
We don't even mention him because Ole Miss has added so much. He's on the 7th tier of what they've added.
Yeah.
They've got the Jimmies and Joes. But like you said, okay, well now you've got to go from a team that is a nice story. You're hunting everybody. You're going to be hunted.
Yep.
And you've got some games on this schedule. You got to go at LSU. You got Oklahoma at home, but you got Georgia at home. You got to go to the Swamp. I mean, you've got some – your non-conference is a joke. But conference games, you're going to be tested.
Yeah, they got a great ramp up where they can gain a lot of confidence in just smashing teams and working out the kinks. But the flip side is they're not going to be as tested coming out of the early portion of the season. Eligibility. For me, on the field, it's just all offensive line. It was the Achilles heel last year. You brought in a ton of veteran experience. But again, does it gel? How do they translate? We will see.
So it's weird because they brought in a ton on the offensive line. I think it was 4 transfers.
Yeah, it was 4 transfers, 3 from power conference.
The guys that were not great last year, but were the starters, they all came back.
Yeah, they returned 3 starters, and they brought in a bunch of transfers. So it's not a bad – that's pretty good.
So Jackson Dart told me at media day, he's like, I feel like we got 10 guys that can play. I'm like,
yeah, somebody
I get what you're saying, but yeah, they should find a 5, you would think.
It reminds me a bit of in 2011, I think we had 9 guys that had started games.
Yeah.
And so you felt like you had a few different groups that you could operate with there. We'll see. Fine, let's do Auburn real quick here. We don't need to spend too long. Look, with Auburn, recruiting's hot right now. Off the field, Hugh Freeze continue doing great. Just flipped a couple of Alabama 4-stars. They actually won the battle for Anquan Fagans. We haven't talked about it on this show yet. Top 100 safety that LSU was really trying to get. But for Auburn, narratively, for me, it's about Hugh Freeze proving that he needs to take a step forward and prove that things are moving in the right direction. Because they're a bit like Nebraska, where year one was actually identical to Brian Harsin year one, unless you zoomed in closer, and then it looked different, right? They were very competitive against Georgia. They should have beaten Alabama. Like, he needs to be, instead of 6-7, he needs to be 7-6, like 8-4. There needs to be a demonstrable step forward.
They're going to get somebody. I don't know who it is. They're going to get a team that we don't really have them winning right now. Probably going to be a home game. Jordan Hare is one of the better environments that we have in the country. They've got enough talent to do it. I don't know what the ceiling's going to be for them. Peyton Thorne's a nice quarterback. He's never going to excite you in a way that he's going to go on a 6-game heater where he goes and takes over the SEC.
I wonder how good Peyton Thorne can be. You know, well, and that's one of the big questions. Hugh Freeze validating sticking with him.
Yeah, he absolutely loves him.
Yeah.
Like, he's showing you that by his actions.
Yeah.
There was plenty of players in the portal that he did not go after because he wanted Peyton Thorne another year in this system. Because remember, Peyton Thorne and Keon Coleman, both from Michigan State, left late last year after spring practice. So they got there late.
And what's interesting about Peyton Thorne is I don't know if there's a quarterback in the country that has had a bigger jump in quality of weapons than what Thorne has, where he had nobody last year. And now between like Condre Lambert-Smith, mentioned Cam Coleman, the highest ever recruit ever signed with Auburn, like Fairweather's a great tight end, second team All-SEC last year.
Robert Lewis.
Yeah, Thorne's got way better weapons than what he had last year. So
we'll
see.
Not only that, like, you have to trust Hugh Freeze. Like, he's shown time and time again, he can develop a quarterback, he can have an offense.
Yeah.
Jake's point, he came in late, but also you had Robbie Ashford there, who a lot of people thought, maybe Robbie Ashford's going to be the starter, maybe it's going to be a 2 QB system. By game 3, it was the Peyton Thorne show.
Yeah.
I mean, not only did he come in late, he beat out Robbie Ashford, who had been in that program for a number of years. Like Jake mentioned, he didn't go get a transfer quarterback, so like maybe he sees something in Thorne that we don't.
So we'll see. But that's Auburn just has to take a step forward. They don't have to be great, but they got to improve.
Jarquez Hunter, probably one of the more underrated players in all of the SEC at running back as well.
All right, when we get back, let's continue to work our way through the SEC. Training camp opened up tomorrow. Keep it locked right here on OTB.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to Pinnacle Exterior Construction, PECbuilt.com, PECbuilt.com. Go to the website today, guys, and check out the gallery online. It's going to blow you away. If you want a pool, you want an outdoor kitchen, just outdoor living area, pergola, bulkhead, you want to put some turf in, you need any size or type of fence, they do it all. Pool maintenance as well, guys. Just a one-stop, like come on by, get us ready to go, or year-round. Explore all of this. Again, the reason why I'm pushing you so hard to the website, PECbuilt.com, is because you got to see the gallery. The artisanship will bowl you over. Go to Pinnacle Exterior Construction.
PECbuilt.com is the website, like T said, and we do encourage you, man. Pools, outdoor living, fences, bulkheads, but also artificial turf. I mean, that is something we've been pushing because, like, in South Louisiana, it rains all the time, and if you want a space that you can still use even if you do have that rain, you want to work out, have a putting green, get that artificial turf installed from PECbuilt.com.
Get the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge app powered by Bayou Ford and tap the microphone icon to send us your thoughts in an audio message. Your message could be played on air during Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob, The Hunt Palmer Show, and after further review with Matt Moscone.
Hey, it's Matt Moscone. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, welcome back. Tennessee, next on our trip around the SEC. Tennessee, okay, so if Ole Miss is in prove-it mode, Tennessee's kind of where Ole Miss was last year, trying to make the leap. They're trying to convince us that they will be a consistent power in the SEC, that they deserve to be closer to Tier 1 or firmly in that Tier 2, if you want to say. I think Josh Heupel's got a ton of positive momentum. I love Iamaleava. Did you see that clip that I sent to the group yesterday where he's talking about liking road games over home games?
Yes.
That's some good, tough energy that I like, where basically just said his whole life he's always loved like the us against the world feeling of going on the road and trying to shut a crowd up as opposed to, having them behind you. I think Tennessee's going to be really good. Unfortunately, like all the other teams in that grouping, Mizzou, LSU, I just don't know if it's 9-3 or 10-2.
So we went across on off campus, and we're picking dark horse teams for every conference, like teams that aren't in the top, like necessarily 4, maybe the conference, but you can see them making a run to the championship game in the SEC or whatever conference. And I picked Tennessee because there's a lot of good there. Now they're replacing some big time production at like running back, and certainly on the defensive side of the football. Although they have one of the best edge rushers, maybe the best edge in the country. But I think Josh Heupel has fully got the identity of this team figured out. Certainly offensively, he has. And there's a lot of players that I think are ready to step up for Tennessee, including quarterback. And so I can easily see them making a run, getting to 9 wins, even 10 wins. They've got a couple of games in their schedule that are going to be challenging. There's no doubt about it. But a lot of their games are at home. Now, the Josh Heupel Bowl at Oklahoma, that's going to be a circus week. How do you handle that?
Yes,
Josh Heupel going back
awesome.
to Norman, where he won a national championship, but he was the OC. They fired him there. The relationship's a little rocky, and it's going to be a narrative all week long. How do you handle that? But also like a game that is going to decide who they are, if they're going to be an 8-win team or maybe a 9-10 win team, is NC State in Charlotte. It's game number 2 of the year. NC State is solid. They're not spectacular, but they are very solid. you lose that game, and then we're having a different conversation. But if you win that game right there, then I'm putting you in that 9-win, 10-win category, because you get Florida at home, Alabama at home, Kentucky at home, Mississippi State at home. You have to go to Georgia, but from October the 12th until November the 15th, you're going to be in Knoxville.
Yeah, it's I mean, so like you said, the schedule lines up pretty nicely if you pass the initial test, and you got a lot of great weapons offensively. You got Lance Hurd there at the left tackle. I think it's going to be great for them. So a really good offensive line overall with Cooper Mays kind of anchoring the deal. Amari Thomas and James Pierce on that D line, one of the more powerful D lines too. So yeah, Tennessee. Can you prove that you are actually back? You're so close. Taylor, you have 30 seconds if you want a Tennessee point.
I worry about their weapons offensively. They got a couple. They need to show a little bit more consistency. And can their defense be more consistent? They've been good at times. At times they have been not so good. That's my biggest concern, defense and weapons on the outside.
All right, hour 2 in the books. We still got, we a little longer. We still got Mizzou, Florida, Kentucky, LSU, Mississippi State, and others to get to. So
Vanderbilt
right here. We'll continue to celebrate college football returning training camp. Open it up today. Reporting today. Open up tomorrow. More OTB coming next.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
AC, heating, and electrical needs. There's only one answer, guys, and it's Accutemp of Baton Rouge. AccutempBR.com. AccutempBR.com. They say service to the highest degree, and it is their ethos, their mission statement, their guiding light. It's why they're so incredibly reviewed with thousands of reviews. And it's why I guarantee you when you use them, you'll have the same reaction my wife did, where she was like, that was the best customer service I've ever gotten, just flat out. Also, if you're in the market for a whole home generator, have them come to your home, give you a free estimate, let you know exactly how it works. Go to Accutemp Baton Rouge, AccutempBR.com.
Go to the website today to schedule your appointment. Top right corner of the site. Chances are, man, 8:56, you schedule that thing, and they are going to be there today. I often tell the story. I have been in studio before, needed their services, scheduled it here in studio, and they beat me to my house. That's the kind of service you get with Accutemp. You can do all that online, AccutempBR.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Érase una vez un Infinity, diseñado para despertar tu imaginación y desafiarte a soñar, con 3 lujosas filas de asientos. El totalmente nuevo Infinity QX80 de 3 filas.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. It's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, party plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com. Oh, by the way, we do shutters too.
Good morning. It's 9 a.m. here on Wednesday, July 31st. Today in Baton Rouge, you can expect mostly sunny skies with a high of 93. In hour 3 of today's show, we'll continue to preview the start of the 2024 college football season. If you missed hours 1 or 2 of the show, you can catch it in the on-demand section at 1045ESPN.com. You can also follow us on Twitter or Instagram at OTB_ESPN and watch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel. Hour number 3 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios, starts now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo, yo, yo.
What's happening, y'all? Welcome back to OTB. T-Bob, Jake, Alondra, Taylor, hanging out with you today. Training camp opening up today. At least people are reporting today. Practice starting up tomorrow. Jake, what was going through your mind your first ever LSU training camp?
A lot. Gosh, it was like the old way of doing things because we didn't have the operations building yet. And so we just had the game day locker room. And it's hard to explain, but we used to get on the buses, like old school buses that they just painted white with a purple stripe. We used to call them prison buses. And just being on that bus in full pads and looking around, it's like, man, there's some grown men on this bus. And Marcus Spears and Kyle Williams and Andrew Whitworth. And it's like, it's this moment of, I think I belong here, but do I? Like, I'm a freshman. I don't look like, these older vets that are 22, 23 years old on this team. They just won a national championship. So there's a time where you got to like remind yourself like, hey, now I'm here for a reason. But it's difficult. It's just there's so much, not even the aspect of how hard it's going to be physically, but mentally as well.
Did you get the Moffitt speech night one, like tonight? Because you all report today, you check into your dorm, or they probably stay in like a Four Seasons now.
I was about to say.
But you check into the Four Seasons, you get your free bottle of champagne, and then you have to go for that first team meeting that night, where they really lay it out. And it's even a bit different than, I remember when you first arrived for summer, that first night team meeting where they're like, recruiting's over, like, your ass is mine now, and your ass is grass. Kind of that like drill sergeant type deal. But then, and then I remember before camp, kind of that same thing, right? I'll never forget the Tommy Moffitt line where he's talking about being on time for workouts. And he says, look, I don't care if you get run over by that effing train out there. You drag your bloody ass in here.
Yep.
And then they just apply that to practice, right? And look, here's what's going to be expected of us. Maybe go through a little bit of install, a little meeting, and recognize that this is where you're going to make or break your dreams, your career. Everything that you've worked for up to this point, if you want to play, it's going to be decided over the next month. There's a lot of great nerves and anxiety there. I remember as an upperclassman, after I'd started a year I figured I was going to be in line to start again, and I got there the first night of camp, and you'd sit in the O-line room recording a depth chart, and all of a sudden I was in the second row. I was pissed, like really, really, really angry. Angry to the point where when my offensive line coach rolled his chair off of a little 6-inch lip and comedically tipped over like it was a Chris Farley skit, I didn't even laugh.
Oh, wow.
I was that angry. Didn't even crack a smile. But you know what I did over the next month? I put the blinders on, I locked in, and I earned that starting job. And that's all you can do right now. You can't focus on the big picture. You'll get overwhelmed. You have to take things one activity at a time and just do everything within your power. Focus on what you can control. And guys, this is for all of you going through high school camp right now as well.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about Jackson walking out the car and he's just got that 2-a-days walk where your body's just beat down and you're just tired, man. And I mean, how crazy to see somebody that I'd love to see that now and know that I never have to go through it again. But all you can do is, again, focus on what's immediately in front of your face, on what you can control, and abide by the football golden rule. One snap and clear. And another piece of canon wisdom that he used to always talk about. Look, you can do anything for 3 hours, you know? You can do it. Don't be soft. You can do anything for 3 hours. So just go do it.
It was never the physical portion of training camp for me. Like, look, let's go do that. I can ride with that. Like, the training camp portion that gets tough is you have to lock in mentally as well, because it's no longer spring practice. It's no longer summertime football school without a football out there. It is real football. It's 9-on-7. It's 7-on-7. It's team drills. It's one-on-ones, like all of that. And again, it's the mental aspect of that. It's no longer day one install. Like, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of the game plan on both sides of the football. It's being in one-on-ones. And, yeah, you know what, man? I gave up a sack right there. Is it going to affect just that play or the next 4 plays? Like, there's so much mental that goes into training camp. And I have seen guys, you've seen guys just be physical freaks, but mentally could not handle what they had to do in training camp. And because of that, you know, a 2-star stubby fullback was able to, like, go win a job.
Yeah.
Like, it's just sometimes it doesn't click in training camp, and it is hard. You do have to go through, like we say, the suck of it, and some people can't handle it.
Well, and it's a good point that mental does just not mean the playbook.
No.
That is hugely challenging, especially making the leap from high school. It's probably the biggest difference. But it's also, like Jake said, when you fail, how do you handle that? And that's where we got to remember to focus on one snap and clear, boys. Doesn't matter what you did last snap. Like, when I'm playing tennis nowadays, it's all I'm telling myself. My wife gets annoyed because I say it out loud every time, like, 1 point and clear. Let's go. Just focus on hitting this ball. That's all that matters. Don't think about the score. Don't think about it. Just clear your mind and just focus on this serve, this play right now, and let the game take care of itself. You got to be present.
One of the things that we used to do in San Diego, and a lot of times in professional football, you don't do stuff like this because it's kind of like, yeah, you're part of a team, but there's more individual aspects of it because, you know, there's transactions in the NFL like daily, certainly weekly, but our running back coach would put a calendar of training camp, like the 5 weeks of training camp, and he'd lay out, and everybody had one in the room, and you had a green marker and a red marker. And if you felt like you had a good day that day, he'd get you up there and you'd circle it in green. And if you didn't have a good, you circle in red. And his whole thing was like, I want you to have more green than red, but also like in front of your peers, they know how good you did. They know how bad you did. He wanted to see what kind of confidence you had in yourself.
I was going to say, because that just feels like you would always just do red almost. Because like,
and he didn't want you to, like,
no, I know.
Like, hey, I don't want.
That's the actual tough part there is having enough confidence in yourself to circle it green.
Yeah.
When you know that there's always things that you could do better every single practice. So look, it is. Who wrote this? Is it Hemingway? It was the best of times. It was the worst of times, because that's how I look back on training camp. It is simultaneously some of the hardest things you will ever do, and yet you form some of those.
Charles Dickens said that.
Charles Dickens. There we go. But you form some of your most cherished memories, right? It's the ultimate kind of, it's like anything else in life. We talk about all the time. The paradox of human enjoyment to adversity, where you hate the hard stuff while you're doing it, but you look back on it with rose-colored lenses and you're like, it gives you warm feelings.
Yeah.
Whereas you love the easy stuff, but it doesn't stick with you when it's easy. So go out there, guys. Work your ass off. Control what you control. And then at the end of the day, remember the team is larger than you. And you do whatever role you have within the team to the best of your ability. That would be what I would say.
And just know it's all going to be worth it, and it's all going to be over soon.
Yeah. One thing at a time. Yeah. One practice, one play. All right, let's do this. Let's go to break, and then when we get back, we'll finish out our journey around the SEC, and then we got a ton of Dennis Allen sound coming up as well. Keep it locked right here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
I kid.
I joke.
I'm not joking, though, about Gordon McKernan injury attorneys. Get Gordon and get it done. 225-888-8888. You need somebody who's going to fight for you. Stand up to the big insurance companies to get you what you deserve. You already know who that is, guys. It's Gordon McKernan. You go to getgordon.com. You can fill out a free consult right there. You can look at all the cases handled, testimonies from past satisfied customers. But I'd say follow them on social media at Get Gordon and see a bunch of great content with your favorite members of the G Team.
Always follow them on all major social media at that handle, at Get Gordon. But one thing we always tell you, like, you can't pick up the phone. You can't give them a call. It is your area code in Louisiana. So 318-985-225, 504-337, whatever it is, followed by 888-8888. Tell them, what's going on with you and what you're looking for. They're going to get you to the right person. But also, like T-Bob said, getgordon.com is a great asset, great tool. Ask a question, find past client results, all that on the website, getgordon.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the gymsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the gymsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets.
Wake up
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
What's happening, y'all? Matt C says, T-Bob misquoted the most well-known Dickens quote, nerd car on thin ice there, bud. You know what is odd? And for as much as I like to read, I know nothing about the classics, you know? When I was in school, I don't know why. Anything I was forced to read, I would almost never read. I would always do like Sparks Notes or something. Like I've never read Pride and Prejudice. I've never read any Hemingway. I've never read any Dickens. So yeah, I it's a weird blind spot that I keep telling myself one day I'm going to fix, but I have not yet. So
you should, because rereading the stuff that they made you read in school when you're older is so good. Like that's what I've been doing. I've been slowly like rereading everything, and it's 100 times better when you're older.
And I've been experiencing that with movies where I've been watching movies that I feel like I know, but then I watch it again for the first time in 15 years. I'm like, oh no, I'm like an adult now, and this is way different.
Yeah.
What's your favorite book that you've read?
I don't know, but Catcher in the Rye hit a lot different when I was older than it did when I was in high school.
Yeah.
It's really good. I finished it in like one sitting.
My main Catcher in the Rye memory is watching the Gregory Peck movie in my now wife's basement and us hooking up for the first time.
Oh.
Ever. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I don't
didn't even know that.
Yeah, I don't really remember too much about the actual story itself.
Yeah, Crime and Punishment is another good one.
Okay.
I don't think they made me read that in high school, but I think I just read it and it's like a lot better now.
Okay, maybe you've inspired me because I don't have the book right now.
I think you would like The Odyssey.
Like
Or Brother, Where Art Thou?
Like Homer, right?
Yeah,
like
Homer.
yeah, you mean like the Iliad Odyssey, like the actual
yeah.
Odyssey.
Mm-hmm. If you read both of them, I think you'd like them.
I mean, I feel like I've seen them and read them in a million different forms as they're kind of the basis of a lot of these stories, but
the OG is good.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Matt C says, didn't like Confederacy of Dunces in school, but I like it now. Yeah, I mean, I came to that as an adult, and that's probably my favorite of all time. In fact, that's the reread that's kind of on the right on the edge of happening. Maybe it's about time for that. What about you, Taylor? You read any classics lately? Have you ever read a book, Taylor?
Non-pop-up book. I'm just now getting into
Yeah,
them.
okay.
I've read
Hell
plenty
yeah,
of
dude.
pop-up books growing up, so
Y'all
it's a little
playing. That's
insulting
about where I'm
that
at.
you wouldn't think that I would do that. Actually, took Victoria to the bookstore. She's big
Red
into
Stick Reads?
She's no, there's one out in Denham.
You
that we go to.
disappoint me every time you open your mouth.
She's big into the ACOTAR series that I know you
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
She's big
ACOTAR's
into
pretty
that.
good.
She was picking up like the next series by like the same author. or
Throne of
whatever.
Glass, probably, I'm guessing.
I picked up a Stephen King book for the first time.
Which one? Fairy Tale?
So this is called Night Shift, and it's actually a collection of like 20 of his like shorter.
Okay, that's cool. That'll be very good. Look, there's something out there for everybody to read.
There is. Didn't you have like a football book that you were telling me about?
Yeah, still have it.
Yeah.
Still haven't finished it. Had it for about a year. Haven't finished it.
That same guy, is it like football strategy or like football stories?
So okay, when the
It's like
Titans went
numbers.
to the Super Bowl back in like the early 2000s, the guy
was
was the
that thinking?
offensive coordinator. His name's like Les Steckel or something.
Uh-huh.
He wrote the book, and it's about like turning your failures into successes and all that, and how like
wow.
life after football is actually better for him than all of the successes he had on the field.
Sounds like he's a real Steckler for the details.
He is.
That same guy I've been watching on YouTube, Ben Kirk. How about this? His name's Ben Kirk. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
I had a teacher in high school. His name was Tom Thomas.
That's
awesome.
some real Magnus von Magnuson energy.
You can walk up and be like, I'm Kurt, and I've always been Kurt.
Wow. You opened your mouth, and not only was it funny, but it didn't make me angry. Good job, Taylor. Proud of you. But he has a book on kind of football basics that I'm maybe thinking about diving into. You're never too old to relearn.
I
new
honestly
things.
think I want to start the Game of Thrones books. because I
They're
haven't
awesome.
read them. Yeah,
They're awesome.
And that's what I've heard. I've heard they're way better than the shows, and I think I'm about to buy a box set of them.
Just know that you're never going to see the ending, unfortunately.
Yeah.
He's not going to finish them. That's fine, though, because like they're still worth reading.
Yeah.
But don't get your hopes up on that regard. Come on, Patrick Rothfuss. I need Doors of Stone. All right, let's get back to the SEC.
I got nothing for y'all. Dr. Seuss.
Well, then how about you read? Just find one book you want to read.
I don't read.
Just one book. Find one book.
I mean, yeah, like I'll read a book to the kids.
Yeah.
If you were going to read, what would it be? What would it be, do you think?
No, I don't. I mean, I would love to, but I just don't. I don't have the
Gun to your
retention.
head. You have to read something. What are you reading?
Does Mike Allstott have a biography out yet?
Maybe so. I used to love
he might
football
actually.
player biographies growing up, dude. I remember reading Manning's. I remember getting suspended from school for showing everybody the F word in Favre's. I'm in second grade reading about Brett Favre's pain pill addiction. I'm like, guys, look at this. It says F.
T-Bub's like, this book is so relatable, guys. You got to check it out.
You know, it's like you get that the reader's high. Like Katie's got a Kindle, man. I look over there, she'll knock a book out like
when you
that,
locked
right?
in, that's like the best feeling ever.
It's like
Yes.
the runner's high. Like I understand that part of
Yeah.
it, but I don't like. I just when I read, man, it goes in, but it goes right back out.
It's like Jake's. Look, Daniel says Jake's reading that Piccadilly Menu. There you go. See, something for everybody to read.
Yeah, look, it's not cool. I don't have great reading comprehension.
It Never Rains at Tiger Stadium's a banger. It's a great call. John Ed Bradley did a really good job with that.
I always loved it, but I think that the very first book series that I got like super, super into was, of course, Twilight. And I think that like every girl my age or maybe even a little older could relate to that.
I've always liked to read the girl stuff to like maintain pop culture. Like I read my sister's Gossip Girls back in the day. I read Twilight. They're all right.
I loved it.
There were some cool parts of Twilight. A lot of stupid stuff, but some cool stuff.
I read The Outsiders.
Hell yeah. That's what I'm saying.
That's a good book.
That's a great
I
book.
read that one in school.
It's a great book. There we go.
I
We
was
got
like
there.
this whole time I'm sitting there thinking, what have I actually read that maybe?
We had to do Outsiders. We had to do Of Mice and Men. I remember
Yeah,
that
that
one
one's
from
good.
school. Those are like the only two I remember.
God, that movie was so sad.
Which one?
Of Mice and Men. I mean, I guess the book's also very sad.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, you're talking about
The Lovely Bones book
I was
made
say
me
Outsiders
cry.
is kind of sad too.
I never read that. I
that
never read
movie
Lovely
was-
Bones.
The movie is sad, but the book made me cry.
Yeah.
Like, and I was taking, those like state exams that you have to take like in school and stuff like that, like the end of course
Yeah,
exams.
like LEAP and everything.
Yeah, so they're called TACs in Texas, but like I finished it and you have to read a book and be silent afterwards. So I was reading it after that test in the class, just crying. Yes, I was like this.
Oh, that's did the teacher say anything to you?
No.
Like you okay?
No. You gotta be quiet.
You know who directed Lovely Bones? Peter Jackson. There we go.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah. Okay. Next on the list, Missouri. We still got Missouri, Florida, Kentucky, LSU, Mississippi State. We go a little quick here to end things. Mizzou. What do you think the main narrative is with Mizzou, actually, Jake?
Just their
I think
defense.
on field it's replacing
It's replacing the NFL
coaches, right?
guys you lost.
Yeah.
You lost 5 of them. You lost, Blake Baker and Jake Olson and people. It's like you lost your entire defensive staff, but you have Kirby Moore coming back offensively. You return 9 starters on offense. Now you lose your left tackle and running back. That's tough.
Is it tough?
But you go get Marcus Carroll from Georgia State. He's a very solid running back.
1,300 yards, 13 touchdowns.
Tiger Stadium hit like a 50-yarder on LSU. I think fans will remember that. You got Brady Cook. You've got Luther Burden. You've got a receiver room that I think in its totality is the best in the country. Like I believe in this Missouri receiver room. The schedule's not brutal. Here we go. Murray State,
Actually pretty
Buffalo, Boston College, Vanderbilt, all at home. Bye week. Then you go on the road to A&M. You go on the road to UMass, which that's a move, but sure. Then you get Auburn back at home. You got to go to Alabama. You get Oklahoma at home. You got to go to South Carolina, to Mississippi State, Arkansas at home. That's not brutal. That is not bad at all. And again, you're returning one of the more explosive offenses in the country. You return your offensive coordinator as well. I think Luther Burden, you and I both believe he's a top 5 player in the country regardless of position. there is a lot to like about this Missouri team. I talked about it yesterday. This is the point of the year where we fall in love with a team, and when we get to August 1st, it's like, all right, here we are. We're at a crossroads, right? If I go left, I'm going to be fully in love. But if I go right now, it's like, man, I like you. I want to give myself over to you. I want to be in that relationship, but you have so many things that I just can't get behind, and I'm going to turn right, and I'm going to go find another team. I'm going left on Missouri. That was my team yesterday. I am here. I'm giving myself over to Missouri being a team that is going to be double-digit wins again. And I think because of the schedule and because of the offensive firepower and Eli Drinkwitz and Kirby Moore, I think Missouri is going to be a team that wins 10 games in the regular season.
Regular season 10.
Yep.
There's not enough oxygen in the room, though. Is there for LSU, Tennessee, and Mizzou to all pull this off?
I've got Mizzou over Tennessee.
Okay.
Right now.
What about Mizzou, LSU?
Kind of in the same boat right now. Love the offense. Question marks are on the defensive side, but I like Missouri's schedule better than LSU's.
Sure. Next on the list, Florida. Florida's trying to avoid a fourth losing season in a row, guys. And if that happens, that will be the first time that happens for the Gators since the 1930s. Now, unfortunately for Florida, I think the theme is kind of a dead man walking.
17-21 to back you up there in the last 3 years.
Yeah, 3 losing seasons in a row. And now they're staring down 4, and they play 7 top 25 teams. 3 of their 4 non-con games are against Power 4 teams. They have 4 road games against top 15 teams. And at one point in a 3-week stretch, they go home UGA, at Texas, home LSU. And this all comes at a time when Billy Napier's job's on the line. Yeah. So for Florida, the biggest storyline is there's just no excitement there. Gosh. I mean, can Graham Mertz build off? It was a pretty solid year, but then does it even matter?
I think they could even be better in the totality of the team than they were a year ago, but it does not matter. Miami, and people are selling Miami like they always do, and they're trying to get me to buy it. I'm not buying it, but a lot of people love Miami. Okay, that's your opening game of the year. You got Texas A&M game number 3. You have to go to Mississippi State, who's going to be like bombs over Baghdad. Let's go have some fun. Yeah. That's not just a chalk 'em up win. UCF's going to be good. I don't know how good compared to some of the teams in the Big 12. You got KJ Jefferson.
Why is UCF an 85 in NCAA? They're an 85 offensive defense. You think that's accurate?
They've got a 1,000-yard back, and then they added another 1,000-yard back in Penny Boone. KJ Jefferson, they're solid. Like, if they beat Florida, would not be surprised at all. And that's not even getting into the bulk of your SEC schedule that you laid out, T. I mean, Georgia, Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, Florida State to end your season. I don't care where it's at. It could be home, Jacksonville, away. That's brutal.
It's awful. And it could be timed worse if you're a Florida fan. Next on the list, Kentucky. And I think the storyline around Kentucky is, can Big Blue Nation find their way to a 3rd win over a 5-3 SEC team? It is the question on the tip of everybody's tongues. Will Brock Vandagriff be good, right? I mean, I've heard a lot. So Georgia fans will poo-poo Brock Vandagriff, but, it's because they watched him have to go against Carson Beck the entire time, right? The returns that we're hearing from Lexington is that Brock Vandagriff is really impressing right now. But I don't know. From where I sit, I think Kentucky's a baseball school, so it doesn't actually matter. Not basketball, not football. They are a baseball school. For real, though, can Mark Stoops justify the investment in the football program?
Probably 8-4 team this year.
I think
it's an 8-4 team. Look at the schedule. Southern Miss, South Carolina, UGA, Ohio, all at home to start the season. Still Georgia, but at least you get the game at home. You have to go to Ole Miss. You got Vanderbilt, Florida, Auburn, Tennessee. That's not an easy stretch, but if you go 2-2 during that stretch.
You know what's funny? They're definitely not getting a win over an SEC team with a winning record.
I think they will.
Who?
I think they'll get either Auburn or Tennessee.
Auburn's not going to finish with a winning record.
You don't think so?
No, hell no. I think Auburn's 4-4 is their kind of SEC peak.
Yeah, that's true. 500.
If they beat Tennessee, yes. I don't think they'll beat Tennessee, but that's fine. 8-4 is exactly what Kentucky's paying.
What was that
students
game
for.
last year? Tennessee won 33-27.
Yeah, it ended up being closer than it looked like it was going to be. It was a great game. But was that in Knoxville or is that where's it at this year?
It's that was in Lexington last year.
Okay, so I don't think they're winning on the road in Tennessee this year, unfortunately. So 8-4, sure. Hell yeah. Good
Do you
job,
guys
Kentucky.
worry about the running game at Kentucky?
They
Because
returned
I'm worried
18
about it
starters.
this year.
I don't think about Kentucky.
No, I know, but like
They
the
got it
best
back from
games,
Ohio State. I mean,
yeah, they do. I mean, because the best teams that Kentucky's had, they've always had a dominant runner. Whether it's Benny Snell,
Chris
Chris
Rodriguez,
Rodriguez, Ray Davis last year, like they are breaking in a new
Cavassier Smoke.
Cavassier Smoke, who
Great name.
went to Colorado because he thought he was going to play and never did. And,
I didn't realize that Vandergrift's a runner, too.
Yeah.
I'm
He can take
guilty.
off.
I'm guilty of assuming with a name like Brock Vandegrift that you're just a pocket passer.
Yeah, I mean that's.
I mean, am I wrong for that, dude?
No, I think that's actually like it's factual until proven otherwise.
Brock Vandegrift running a 4.6 doesn't actually make sense. That should not check out. So, congrats, Kentucky.
Again, I like for whatever reason that's the team that you just like to hate. But last year, 7-6, you returned 18 starters. You got Vandergrift at quarterback. It's going to come down to him. But defensively, and I'm not trying to be funny here and stick up for the team that I always do, you've got a defensive line that would rival anybody in the SEC.
Really?
Deion Walker might be the best defensive lineman in the SEC.
Okay.
So he's a giant. Did you see him at media days?
I did not.
He had
Did
to
not,
duck to
actually.
get into the door frame.
That would be one way that you could maybe upset Tennessee on the road. Next on this list, LSU. We don't need to spend a ton of time here because we talk about it all the time. Y'all already know what it is, dude. For LSU, it's win the opening game. Win the opening game, beat USC, and then if you do what you've done the last 2 years, you'll end up 10-2. Like literally, you've gone 6-2 in the SEC the last 2 years, which for the vast majority of my time covering and or playing and or cheering for LSU, you go 6-2 in the SEC. That's a 10-2 regular season. 10-2 regular season basically guarantees a playoff spot. Beat USC, and then obviously like defensive improvement.
That's it. Like win your opener and be just solid on defense. Just be
top 40. That's the goal.
Yeah, be dependable as far as like I know you're going to be in the right spot, and I know you're going to whatever your assignment is, like whatever the technique is, you're going to use the proper technique. You're going to be in your proper assignment. Not a lot of MAs because last year, man, we turned on the tape team and we were like, well, who coaches this? I don't want to see any of that this year. I don't think you will see it because of who you brought in. Win the opener, be dependable on defense, and you're going to be a 10-2 football team.
Mississippi State, this is easy. Go just have fun and play free. Last couple of years had to be miserable for Bulldog players. I mean, 8-4 year, you win the Egg Bowl, really good year, and then you go through actual grief and tragedy, losing your head coach. You rally, you win a bowl game, 9-4, great year. But then they put Zach Arnett in charge, and he proceeds to ruin everything. The vibes get miserable. Everybody's leaving. Okay, well, now you get one of the best offensive minds in all of football. Just go score and see what happens. That said, Mississippi State actually has the hardest road schedule in the country.
It sucks.
They have at Texas, at UGA, at Ole Miss, and at Tennessee, all on the docket. Year one for Jeff Lebby.
No LSU for Mississippi State feels weird. It does. Same thing with Auburn, but they just because they miss LSU, the SEC scheduling guys did not do them any favor. What T just laid out there, that is brutal. The toughest away from home schedule in the country. They won a singular SEC game a year ago. How the hell did they beat Arizona last year, by the way? It was an overtime
Early
victory.
season, before you know if you're good or bad, right?
My gosh.
You know,
I mean,
I know. I agree. Fafita and McMillan were not Fafita and McMillan
because
yet.
they played LSU the next week, and you and I both were like, oh, man, they beat Arizona. I mean, I don't know. Arizona was good the year before.
That was one of the best reads we've ever had on a game. LSU, Mississippi State, where it did not look good for the Bulldogs. Did not end up being good. So
we were at Whiskey and Wine enjoying that one.
But they really don't have that much pressure on them this year.
No, they should go out there, and I think they're going to. Hearing Jeff Lebby, we are going to just throw everything at you. And you know what? There's going to be a game because of our style that we lose probably 56-3 because you're going to catch us in one of those, but you know what we're going to do? We are going to beat somebody 52-47 that we shouldn't. You know what I mean? They're going to have a victory like that this year. Last year, 5-7, 1-7 in conference play. If you're Mississippi State, be 6-6 and be 3-5 in conference play. And I think Bulldog fans will see that and be like, you know what?
That'd be really good.
There is growth here, and the master class of how to screw things up by Zach Arnett is in the past, and we can move forward.
All right, when we get back, we'll very quickly finish off with A&M, South Carolina, Vandy, and Arkansas. Keep it locked, OTB.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
And we got Tay-Tay's NFL Story of the Day coming up, so keep it locked. Go to K2Z window coverage, KTOZblinds.com. You get them window coverage that wow, whether you need custom blinds, window shades, plantation shutters, more. And just understand, like right here, look, understand the improvements I'm talking about are both aesthetic and functional. They cool off your house. They save you money. They look great. They tie the entire room together. There's complimentary installation. It's just 3 easy steps, okay? Again, you schedule a consultation. You design with an expert. It's going to blow you away where you learn about how much you can improve your situation, and then you get that complimentary installation. KTZ winter coverage, KTOZblinds.com.
Hey, now is the time for those outdoor shades, right? You want to watch the game outside in your outdoor kitchen, the space that you're so prideful of. Well, go get a shade that as soon as you drop this thing, man, it is going to take away that glare in your TV. It's going to cool your space down. It has been game changer for us, inside and outside. Actually, check it out online, KTZblinds.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Farming is a way of life for us. It's not something we get up in the morning and dread going do. It's just something we go to bed at night looking forward to getting up to go do. John Deere equipment is what we as farmers strive to have. So it's in your blood, it's in your veins. It's just a part of who you are. Green is what we want to be in. The other tractors were acquired to patch it up to get to where you want to be. Where we want to be is in John Deere. Flip the switch and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Still got your things here. They stare at me like souvenir. Don't wanna let you out my head. Just like the day that I met you, the day I thought forever.
Welcome back, OTB, rolling right along here. We got a couple schools to wrap up on, and then we are finally done with our camp SEC preview. South Carolina, again, guys, there's just not a lot here. I feel so bad for South Carolina. It feels like every time they get a badass player, they just end up transferring. I'm somewhat intrigued by Lenore Sellers, their big athletic quarterback. It's going to be a redshirt freshman. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. In a weird way, the biggest story about South Carolina is like almost like an absence of story. Even though I guess, is Beamer in like hot water? Like, is he on the hot seat? Is that the actual story?
Ish.
A
little bit.
Yeah.
I think, obviously, with their school history in football and them understanding that, outside of Steve Spurrier, there's not a lot of history.
Yeah.
Not good history.
I agree.
There's a lot of history because they played it for a long time, but not a lot of success. And he's had some success. I mean, you know, what they did a couple years ago at the end of the season to beat Tennessee, to beat Clemson, that bought them some extra time. I'm with you. When they have, you know, a good player, it's like, who's going to come steal that player? Be it Birch on the defensive line or Juice Wells at receiver or
Jaheim
Bell from, you know,
awesome.
Florida State takes him.
And now credit, like they always have somebody like Xavier. They always seem to have somebody
Yeah.
who pops out next year, but then they just get stolen again.
But let's not forget about Rocket Sanders at running back. He goes from Arkansas to South Carolina. There was a time in his career where he was RB1 in the SEC.
Yeah, I forgot that. Yeah.
I would say, like, he was one of the better backs, if not the best back in the Southeastern Conference. And so they've got some juice to them, but it's going to be an uphill battle. I mean, you get LSU at home, but still you get LSU and Ole Miss at home, but still I'm just not sure that matters. But you have a 3-game stretch. Actually, let's go 4-game stretch of Ole Miss at Alabama, at Oklahoma, Texas A&M. If you go 1-3 in that, you feel like, oh, okay, we stole one here. I can't get to 7 wins for South Carolina right now. And I hate that because you know me. I love Shane Beamer, but I can't get there right now.
Vanderbilt, nobody cares. Arkansas.
Whoa.
What?
I mean, at least give my guy Clark Lee a shout out for being a fullback.
Okay, Clark Lee's the head coach. All right. Arkansas.
Wow, that is.
Okay,
they got the quarterback. They got the quarterback.
On Vanderbilt.
They went and got the quarterback from New Mexico State that went to the Plains, went to Jordan-Hare and beat Auburn. He's now their quarterback. He transfers in.
Yeah, Diego Pavia.
Yep.
Look, he had 26 touchdowns, 9 picks last year, almost 3,000 yards. He can play.
Willed his team to victory against Auburn last year.
Well, then they also bring in Nate Johnson. He was at Utah, spent 2 seasons there. He played a little bit.
Shut up.
After Cam Rising.
No, shut up. I know you're talking about Nate Johnson. I don't care though. It's Vanderbilt. We got look. Honestly, it's more about the clock, guys. I apologize.
Wow.
Arkansas. I barely want to say anything here. You know, Bobby Petrino. There you go.
Sam Pittman enjoys a couple cold beers.
I am super bummed for Sam Pittman because I love the hashtag embrace the hog. I love the hog statue that he has at his lake house, the slobbering hog statues. I love him and his cold beer quote. Unfortunately, if your answer is to the new age of football is bringing back Bobby Petrino, I think that's a bad answer to the test. So, and you probably hired your own interim replacement, unfortunately. So. Finally, Texas A&M. You know, is the culture actually different? That's what it's about. Does Mike Elko, can he actually bring that toughness? If he can, that front seven should be terrifying. I mean, they added Nick Scorton, the Big Ten sack leader. Mike Elko, excellent defensive mind. That's what it comes down to me. It's all about culture with A&M.
Probably the biggest thing, second biggest thing for me is Connor Wegman. Can he stay healthy?
Yeah.
When he's been healthy, he's actually been a pretty good quarterback in the SEC. Defensively, you like where they're going to be. They've still got a couple of playmakers. There's a lot to like about the A&M roster, even with the guys they lost in the transfer portal. because they recruited so well. Like, they didn't win games because of it, but they recruited well enough that they can take a couple of those losses and still have a talented roster.
They still got a top 10 talent roster.
Return 18 starters, 9 on both sides of the football. You like that if you're an A&M fan, and you have the opportunity to, in week number 1, get a win that can propel your season to 9-3. I don't think 10-2, but if you go 9-3, you're number 1 after being 7-6, and you got a Notre Dame win. Let's say you've got a Missouri win, right? Or Texas win, something like that on your resume. Man, they are going to be feeling pretty good in College Station, and they've got the roster to do it.
Notre Dame, beat Notre Dame. I mean, that's it, man. That's it. The opportunity, beat Notre Dame. Taylor, I apologize for telling you to shut up. I have a very bad habit of this. There's something that me and my wife have realized where we tell each other to shut the F up all the time, but when we're around people who don't know us, it freaks people out.
I could see how that would come across as aggressive.
We were at Ridley's wedding, and we're like sitting with people we don't know. We're all making like casual, fun conversation. At one point, my wife says, I was like, shut the F up. And the woman across from me looked horrified, truly horrified. But I don't know. So I apologize.
You weren't ready for the Vandy knowledge, dude. It happens.
No,
okay.
I mean, I do not care about Nate Johnson, who wasn't good at all at Utah last year.
He's not going to be the starter.
Either. I do not care about anything Vanderbilt or Nate Johnson related. This is true, but I shouldn't have told you to shut up. I apologize.
Man. If I told Katie to shut the F up, a shank's coming next.
Jake's missing work the next day.
Oh, I'm missing indefinitely.
Multiple days.
I know.
Shank.
We just talk awful to each other. We've been together so long that it just feels normal to us.
I've been with Katie for like 23 years. I'm shanked.
All right. Well, did she tell you to shut the F up?
No.
Why don't you shank her then? Oh, okay, yeah. We'll see.
No.
So there you go. Different strokes, different folks.
Yeah.
I'd
actually like to see Caitlin tell you, shut.
What do you mean? She always, yes, don't worry. It's, yeah. All right, close out the show next. We got a Tate Tateaville story of the day and Ask the Bench. Keep it locked.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to All-Star Toyota Baton Rouge. All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com is the website. They're off of Airline in Goodwood. All-Star Toyota Service Center is where you can go if you need any, if you get in an accident, you need a collision repair, just a general checkup. All makes and models welcome. Doesn't have to be Toyota, doesn't have to be All-Star. You can go on the website. You can check out some of the great deals. You can learn about Toyota Care warranty that comes on both new and Toyota certified used vehicles. You can custom order whatever you want. So look, just go see them today, man, and let them be your guide in the car buying wilderness. All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.
Go to the website today if you've maybe got a last-minute vacation right before school starts, or more than likely you've got an LSU football trip planned. Go ahead and rent a Toyota. Go ahead and schedule that Toyota. Reserve that Toyota for your trip. And if you want something bigger, better on gas mileage, whatever it is, every option is available. All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com. All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com.
Get the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge app powered by Bayou Ford and tap the microphone icon to send us your thoughts in an audio message. Your message could be played on air during Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob, The Hunt Palmer Show, and after further review with Matt Mosco.
Érase una vez un Infinity, diseñado para despertar tu imaginación y desafiarte a soñar, con 3 lujosas filas de asientos. El totalmente nuevo Infinity QX80 de 3 filas.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There's nothing chill about a hot, sweaty line. Unless...
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, Taylor, sorry we went so long on our SEC thing. Can you give me a Tay-Tay NFL story of the day?
It's time for Tay-Tay's NFL Story of the Day. Your daily dose of NFL news from Taylor Sharp.
All right, T-Bob, get your tissue ready, because you're going to cry tears of joy, because this is another non-depressing NFL story of the day. The receiver market just continues to get crazier and crazier. A 4-year, $110 million extension happened yesterday. It was actually the largest contract extension in Chicago Bears franchise history for
DJ Moore.
DJ Moore. He's now the 3rd highest paid wide receiver in NFL history, behind Justin Jefferson and A.J. Brown.
Y'all know NFL better than me. Is DJ Moore that, like...
I was about to say DJ Moore
he's had really good years. Don't get me wrong. He was pretty awesome actually last year.
The problem with DJ Moore, he always puts up solid numbers. You never really know, because he hasn't really had an elite quarterback.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, is Caleb Williams going to change that? That remains to be seen. He hasn't played a snap yet.
Quarterbacks to have as many really good years as he does is maybe you score that more impressively.
I guess my thing is, like, he hasn't played with Caleb Williams yet. You got him under contract. All you did was extend him a little bit more, and I get it. The market is what it is, but I feel like you overpaid for this a little bit. He's the 2nd best receiver on his team. Keenan Allen is the best receiver on that team. You got a young guy in Roma Dunze, who I imagine you're going to have to give a bigger extension to later down the road.
Well, but at that point, this contract will be done.
This one just doesn't make a ton of sense. I mean, he's a solid player. I don't know if he's 3rd highest paid receiver in the league good, but hey, we'll see if it works out for him. Well, he's also 27, so he'll be 32 making this money as well.
Going into his physical prime, though, here at wide receiver. I just think back to Mike Thomas, how crazy it was, how much he had to fight for $20 million. Man broke NFL records, offensive player of the year, barely could crack $20 million, and now we just accept that you got to pay all your receivers a ton of money. All right, Ask the Bench, brought to you by Cole Curse Light, Vizier, Tilter, Blue Moon, Light Sky, Citrus Sweet. Ask the Bench, have you gone back and looked at old YouTube videos of you and Jordy from 2019, how homeless you looked and big? Yeah, it was a very funny time. It was a very funny time. I was working very hard.
So mean to be like, have you seen these old videos of you being big?
It's funny though, because I look back on them and I laugh, like, because I really was just living crazy. I was working very hard on Song of Purple and Gold. Ask the Bench. No kids, no wife, just sitting down to game for hours. What drink and snack are sitting next to you? Some sort of hard liquor, tequila or bourbon, ideally.
Yeah.
Snack-wise, not a snack, but like I like to kick off, like when my family's out of town and I watch TV or something, I like to have, Chinese, obviously.
It's not a snack.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't snack though. I don't.
So
I
we're,
don't
really snack and
gaming. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Coke Zero and pretzels probably.
Dr. Pepper and, like, I don't know, some sort of hot chips.
In
Chips
high
are good
school, it
play.
used to be Munchies and
The only
Gatorade.
reason I went pretzels because like chips,
That's what I'm
the
saying,
ones
you
I
can't
like,
really-
they kind of get on your fingers a
Yeah.
little bit, but pretzels they don't stick to your fingers.
Dr. Pepper and
That's
some
a
sort
good
of like
point.
M&M Skittles, that type of thing for the snack.
Skittles, oh
Some
man.
Takis.
M&M Skittles?
Or Skittles. Like
Oh.
M&M's or Skittles.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think that sounds
I mean,
good.
I enjoy some good. I hadn't had Skittles in a while, but I enjoy that.
I love Skittles.
The
I
sour
put
ones.
all the Skittles in my mouth at once and chew them up. And see, I used to love
The
seeing how
whole
long
bag?
you can make your spit go down and suck it back up. Like from Big Daddy, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Because like the Skittles make your spit really like viscous.
You did the whole bag? Or just one of each color?
Did you enjoy it that way? Or?
Oh, I love just jamming my mouth. The same way I eat dots. Throw the whole packet
Oh,
in there.
that is.
Jamming your
Just
Whoa.
chew them up all at
I
once.
could
Jam
not
in your
imagine
mouth.
how chewy that would be. That sounds
It's so
awful.
good.
A whole box of dots sounds awful.
No, it's the best. Same way I eat Mike and Ike's by the handful.
Oh,
do
you
like
like
a
Mike and Ike?
Who
I
doesn't
like
like Mike and Ike's, dude?
Yeah, I do like some
Wait,
Mike
do y'all
and
know
Ike's.
what y'all don't know what I'm talking about? That guy where he's like,
yeah.
you like Mike
Oh,
and
yeah.
Ike's?
From,
you got a
Mad TV?
boyfriend?
Yeah.
Ask the bench, how many days a week do you have an alcoholic beverage? Probably about 5.
I don't know. It depends.
Very often none.
Yeah.
Very
5 or
often
7.
none. I probably have 1 or 2 a month, maybe.
God, I love glasses of wine at night. I love tequila at night.
Oh, I have nothing against it. I have
Yeah.
nothing against it, but my day's easier if I don't.
What's your favorite thing made with avocados?
Guacamole.
Avocados
Yeah.
Guacamole.
themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, they're like on a burger. they're
Anything
fantastic.
avocado. Ooh, yeah.
You know.
A sandwich.
Yeah.
Breakfast. It's a really good breakfast sandwich, you know, and a little sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit.
Little avocado toast.
Yep, love avocado.
Ooh,
toast.
avocado toast right there.
Love
French
it.
truck. Good
We'll
avocado
see you tomorrow,
toast.
Morty B.
No free shout out.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Kyle says T-Bob's dentist loves having him as a patient. Actually, like I'm not a big sweets guy, so I've
No,
never
you're not
had
at all.
I've never had problems with that. But if you're having problems with aging, why don't you treat the untreated effects of aging by going to Rejuve Me Medical? They're in Baton Rouge, Metairie, Slidell, Monroe, Shreveport. And at Rejuve Me, they draw your labs. They figure out where your body's deficient. And they customize a plan for you to get you where you want to be. So if you're going through andropause, menopause, facial aging, lack of energy, mood and memory problems, insomnia, all of this is treatable. Reach your full potential with Rejuve Me Medical. Go to RejuveMeMedical.com today.
Go to that website and get that consultation set up, or go to the website and just check out what they can do for you, the list of conditions that they can help you out with. Or maybe you don't know what it is and you're trying to lose weight and you're doing the things that you think are the right things and you're just not losing. You're eating right, working out, but you can't drop the pounds. Go see them today, RejuveMeMedical.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.